Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin tonight's obscene, rude, and downright appalling live stream, All Elite Wrestling is proud to hijack this feed to present a major announcement from the one, the only, the savior of real pro wrestling, the avatar of virtue, the martyr of the mat, the bestest boy who is in no way a disappointment to his father, Tooney Khan.
Tooney Khan, wrestling savior, and he's the bomb. Yeah, he's TK. Tooney Khan is giving wrestlers hugs, and he might be on drugs. Yeah, he's TK.
Thanks, guys, and greetings to fans of real pro wrestling. It is I, the one and only Tooney Khan, and I'm here to make a major announcement. Before I begin, I would like to announce that tonight's announcement is going to be a major one, and it is in no way a ratings ploy to try to get more people watching at the beginning of this show. It's also in no way a pandering attempt to make you laugh so that you'll super chat more, and it's certainly not just a way to kill time to let more people filter in as the show begins. Alright, now that that's out of the way, we can announce the announcement. I, Tooney Khan, am proud to announce that, AEW is, real swell, and, we're gonna be doing exciting things that, cost money and will lead to big success, and,
Well, haven't we started yet?
crap.
Tooney? What the hell are you doing here?
Making a huge announcement, monster.
No, you're not. I know you're using this failing tactic to try and bring viewers into Dynamite this week because you've been floundering in the low 600,000s and you're hoping for a big pickup so that you can blame the Olympics for your terrible ratings.
My terrible ratings, which are still more respectable when you understand how TV works, were because of the Olympics and nothing else.
Then go ahead, just make your stupid announcement and leave. I got Ann Evans back here.
Oh, I thought that was Ryback.
No! Oh, God, I don't... Will you just make your damn announcement and leave?
Hey, whatever, man. I'm killing so much time that Kevin Apollo and Awful might actually make it for the beginning of the show this week.
You have 30 seconds.
Just saying, it was a much nicer show when Dis was hosting.
Tooney!
Fine, all right, my announcement. I, Tooney Khan, am thrilled to announce that, AEW All-In tickets are happening, and,
Oh my God, you don't actually even have an announcement, do you?
Shut up, I do so.
Wow, I do not have time for this tonight. We gotta do the show, and then I gotta finish the Headlock headlines because they're dropping at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
I am thrilled to announce that the newest episode of the Headlock Headlines, starring me, Tooney Khan, will be dropping tomorrow, August 14th at 7 a.m., Central?
Eastern
Standard Time.
Wow, this was really stupid.
Yeah, but now people won't yell at you for using me in the thumbnail.
True. Alright, can you just sign some autographs for producer Neckbeard on your way out?
Whee! Come here, Neckbeard, you chubby bastard.
Tooney Khan, everyone, and Headlock headlines tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now let's get this party started! All right, it is Tuesday night in Tooney Town, so that can only mean one thing. It is time for the the fastest rising live stream pro wrestling podcast on the face of this planet. It is time, folks, for Tooney Talk Wrestling. I am Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster, and I am thrilled to welcome back my esteemed panel and apologize to all of you guys for the Tooney Khan interruption. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Folks, first of all, I'm pretty sure I can keep Tooney Khan away because I got a big black guy here and he's kind of racist. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Apollo.
Jesus Christ.
I'm in a mood tonight. I'm in a mood tonight. I'm coming in guns blazing tonight, my friend. Oh, boy. Yeah, hey, how's it going
All
tonight?
the heat.
All the heat. Yeah, just bringing in all the heat. You know what? I'm gonna double up and just make sure that Tooney doesn't come back with awful wrestling is here.
Yeah, what's going on, fella?
All right. We gotta get right into it because we're starting a little bit late. Also, folks, joining us as always, our good friend AEW Disciplinary Committee, aka Dis.
Hi. He said it was
Hey.
nice. That was nice. He said it was nice.
He said it was a nicer show when you did it. As
It was.
He didn't say you were nice. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like you very much. And joining us this week, folks, one of my favorite people on the planet, the YouTube guru himself, MMA analyst, former head of PR for UFC, former head of YouTube for TNA Wrestling, all around great guy, Mr. Ant Evans.
Feed me more.
Welcome. That's why I texted you to be like, hey, do you not like the Ryback jokes? Because
there's more flattering people that everyone to say you look like, to be honest.
No, it's just I'm
I
not
mean, it
the
was
one
bad
that
when
made-
people used to say Josh Alexander, but Ryback, it's like I'm going like fucking lower and lower down the gene pool as we go.
Oh my goodness, guys. We've got some super chats to get to before we get started tonight. We've got quite a few. We got 7 super chats already built up. Wow,
Nice.
you guys are super generous tonight. I super appreciate it. John JID 999 checking in for 999. Just like his name. It works. It's like a gimmick. Thoughts on WWE being like Universal and AEW being Disney right now? One is expanding, giving fans what they want / making changes, and the other is shunning away casuals while appealing to diehards. Man, I have corrupted this kid. I have turned him into this like cynical, like Disney hating, like goblin the way I am, and I love it. I love it. He watches me. He watches us over on the Pro Show with WW Pro. He watches us over on that Bach Place. But yes, I would make that comparison. I would say, Universal Studios is, and Universal as just a company is making big moves while Disney is making backtracks. It does really kind of remind me of the AEW versus WWE war here because, one is expanding and the other is just kind of rehashing old land and, creating more of the same. Kevin Apollo, what say you?
Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm cool with it. WWE seems to be very focused and driven on building their future, and AEW is just kind of I don't even know. I can't say they're treading water. I really legitimately just don't know. I can't even say they're smelling their own farts. It's just they're just kind of existing. They're just kind of there.
Right. No, that's very true. Colin Taylor checking in for $5 says, please sing my next super chat like it's Pug's entrance song. I only got a super chat for the super chat that's about to happen. So Colin Taylor checking in for $20. Like this committee and my movie. It's the Truth Dakota Kaiser Weave.
Oh, that's rude.
That's amazing. That's
You
amazing.
leave her alone.
Yeah, she is. She's that white girl that hangs out in the anime club with all the Asian girls. And, they don't actually like her, but, they keep her around because, I guess, I don't know, street cred?
Right. Somebody's got to drive home.
Right. Oh, my God. Well
Really love
done,
this
Colin
class.
Taylor. Well done. And Colin Taylor is allowed to call people a weeb because I believe he's from Japan. Where, by the way, konnichiwa to all of our Japanese listeners, because apparently we are pretty big in Japan, just saying.
Nice.
Is
Japan,
we-
Ichiban.
If we
We-
break the top 5, I'll reenact the Big in Japan music video.
Well, we already were. I mean, like weeks ago, we were the #1 pro wrestling podcast in Japan, beating out Chris Jericho. But yeah, now we're like in the 20s now. We've kind of like cooled down from our initial rush of listeners. But yeah,
Is weeb something we can't say? Is that are we
No,
gonna pull a Dave
I'm-
Meltzer? It's the W word now.
No, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure we're allowed to say it because it's like about white people. So,
Right,
Like,
yeah.
everything's fair game apparently for that.
I did like that. Did you see that Dave Meltzer's little thing about Mark being the N word for wrestling fans came back?
I did see that. It is one of the most tone deaf things he's ever said. And this is the guy that said that Roman Reigns faked cancer. So good Lord. I know Ant's friends with him, so I try not to rag on him too much when
That's
Ant's
like
on the
every show I'm on, someone's ragging my boy Dave.
I mean, come on, dude.
Dave Meltzer's a lovely guy.
Yeah,
One of the smartest
really
people in
stupid
wrestling.
things.
Well, let's test this out. Awful. You're a mark.
That's our
Hey,
word.
yeah.
The hell you just say? This is
Okay.
canceled.
I'm going to do the other one now. Awful.
No,
I'm not-
no.
Demonetization.
Hold it right
in
there.
5, 4, 3.
Yeah.
No, you ever seen the Family Guy episode where Peter's like, I'm gonna go into the black neighborhood and scream the you know what word? He comes back with a sash and a crown that says King of the Black People, and he's like, they respected me for it, Lois.
They could do that. I'm going back a bit, showing my age, but they could do that Die Hard with a Vengeance scene, where instead of like having I hate marks, they just stand out of an AEW ring and see Samuel Jackson have to run out and go, what the hell are you doing, boy, trying to get yourself killed?
Me, Neckbeards, and Awful are all running to Canva right now to try to make that real quick and get it on Twitter.
Oh my God. I love that so
Cool.
much.
Get there first.
Samurai Sam for $5 says, with Randy likely losing at Bash at Berlin, does Randy turn on Cody to get a title shot? And if so, does he win against Cody after losing so many times? I think Randy versus Cody is inevitable. It's a story that needs to be told. It's a mentor versus student kind of thing. And I think I legitimately think that it's been enough time since WrestleMania. I think Randy could take it for a brief spell. I think Cody gets it back before WrestleMania, but I think you give Randy maybe a 2-month reign, because Randy Orton, thick boy Randy Orton, is like my new favorite thing in the world, because he's come back with a vengeance, and I love it.
It's so funny. My wife just yesterday said, did people just discover Randy Orton? Because apparently he's all over her TikTok.
Oh
And I'm
boy,
like, I guess women are enjoying thick boy Randy Orton.
no, that's it, because it's thick boy summer. Remember?
It's our thick boy summer, baby.
Before the whole John Cena thing happened, I really thought that was going to be Cody's, push into WrestleMania. But I'm starting to think they might end up doing Cody Cena, or there's also Cody Rock going to WrestleMania. So I'm thinking we're going to get the Randy Orton thing in stages, especially considering Orton just signed a 5-year contract.
Yeah,
Did you
he's
see that?
29.
So I could see this. I could see them doing a face versus face feud, and then pausing and letting Cody do something else, and then Randy comes back around and turns on him, and then we get the big one later.
You have to do Cody and Rock at some point. They've set it up. They've teased it. They've basically said, hey, pencil this in. It's coming like a freight train. We're doing this.
Right.
So I think you have to kind of, look at it.
They call him the final boss for a reason. That wasn't an accident.
Exactly.
He's the final boss. It's got to be WrestleMania in Vegas. Has to.
Do you think that maybe they do Cody Rock at like, I don't want to say Survivor Series, but maybe like December or even at the Rumble, and The Rock actually beats him and faces Roman at WrestleMania for the title, and they actually do it now?
Ooh.
See, I was going to go the other way. I was going to go, you do Roman and Rock at WrestleMania, and then you save Rock and Cody for SummerSlam, which is the first 2-night SummerSlam.
Well, because Roman is the guy right now.
Yeah, I don't think Roman and Solo can go all the way to Mania.
No.
No.
Right.
No.
So Roman's going to need a bigger fight at Mania. So I'm thinking that's why I said Cena and Cody is just, you got that opportunity. You got one last chance to do it. It's the only chance you're going to have to do that dream match at WrestleMania. It just kind of makes sense to do it,
I think you'll get Roman and Solo, possibly even at Bash at Berlin. I think that's coming very soon because you got to get ready for the blow off to the Roman Solo portion of this.
Right.
Will likely be War Games at Survivor Series with 4-on-4. You got Solo, the Tongans, and Jacob versus Roman, the Usos, and Sammy.
Yeah,
Right.
And then,
I still think. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Still
You're fine.
think that it's the tribal chief versus the high chief at Mania.
Yeah,
Where I think
It's got to be right because that's the it's the final boss, like you
Yeah.
said. Like I think Cody is. I think Cody had 2 years where everything was all about Cody, and now I think Cody can be a main guy without having to always be the main focus.
Mhm.
They
That's
finally
amazing.
got Roman. They finally got Roman to that fever pitch baby face that they always wanted him to be for all those years when they were shoving him down everybody's throats. Now he's that level of over that they always wanted. I don't think they waste that.
Right.
I also
Well-
don't think you put the belt right back on him though, because
No.
we just
He
had
doesn't-
him as champion for so
and he
long.
doesn't need it. He doesn't
He
need
doesn't
it.
need it.
You know, Roman
Well,
could go
that's the
the rest of his career without having a belt and be fine. You know,
But that's the other thing. You could do Cody and Rock at the Rumble and have Roman cost Rock the match, and then that sparks them into WrestleMania.
That's right for
'Cause-
Muhammad Ali's People's
For the
Championship.
People's if Cody wins the People's Chip, no, Rock's never dropping that. Are you kidding me? Because Muhammad Ali's wife, unprovoked, made that belt for him with her bare hands. You know,
she was in the mill.
it was.
Forged
Yeah,
the
it was like-
tires of Mount Doom.
Yeah.
But another belt was. They were all of them deceived, for another belt was made. 9 were given to the AEW roster.
Yeah,
Doomed
right.
job. I gotta make that whole thing.
Brainstorming
What?
live on the air, folks.
1 for the Mark Lord on his Mark throne.
Don't say that word.
In the land of Miami, or in the land of Hollywood, where the shadows lie. The one thing I liked from Rings of Power was that song. Okay, Alejandro Melendez for $4.99 says, "Liv the fair saved her man from the clenches of the wench last night. True love prevailed again. Behold the power of love." Alejandro's takes on I love following this feud through his super chats. Man, they are killing it with this storyline though. I'm loving it. I mean, look, Liv has found her calling. I mean, Awful was saying it before we went on the air. Awful, you want to talk about what you were saying?
She has risen. She has raised her stock tenfold in
She
my
has risen.
eyes. She certainly has. She rises a lot of people
She is
apparently.
risen.
But the way she plays her role is perfect. It's shocking that this wasn't going on for like the last 5 years with Liv Morgan. She's awesome, outstanding.
My favorite was when Dom saved her from Rhea last week.
Yeah.
And they were on, you looked on Twitter and somebody was like, man, Liv's giving Dom a whole bunch of chicken tendies for that one. Dom's getting a whole bunch of chicken tendies from Liv tonight for that one. And Liv quote tweeted it and said, he's getting a lot more than that. And I was like, good for you, you Jersey, you
Dirty Jersey girl.
Yeah.
And because Liv is single, unlike some people who have insecure boyfriends or husbands at this point, you can really play the whole sexy, sultry, hoe bag for Dominik Mysterio.
Who had
We're
an
talking about
insecure
Rhea
husband?
Ripley.
Oh, really? Was Buddy Murphy?
I mean, it's a rumor,
down
but
with it?
there was a point where it was just like Rhea Ripley was doing that kind of stuff with Dominik, and then just one day it just stopped.
Oh my goodness!
Heat
Yep,
was on.
and I hope that they don't change his name though to Daddy Dom, and I hope that none of you Google that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, she's taking him under the boardwalk, down by the sea. Plenty of picks a lot for $5. This is what I needed today. Let's go, Tooney Talk. This is what I needed today. Too.
Yeah.
So when we hit Netflix, do we discuss how Dom got Peggy Bundied?
What happened? Yeah, you need to catch me up on this. What happened?
Well, no, we were saying that
we should be saying that, like,
don't keep it from me like I'm the uncool kid. Tell me what happened.
We can't, or else we'll be demonetized.
If I actually explain what I'm talking about, we'll be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and if we do, Ant's gonna yell at me. Ant'll be the one yelling at me tomorrow about saying the thing that got us demonetized.
Just take the first 3 letters from each word, and you'll have it figured out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, what we all think happened in the Dom.
If somebody wants to clue me in on a super chat, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, John JID 999 for 199 says, I mean, that was just wow, clap, 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 clap. I think he was talking about the cold open with Tooney Khan. LC Killer 17 for $5. Should I watch Dynamite tomorrow or go to a strip club? Young man, go to a strip club. I assume
Definitely,
but go do anything else. If he was like, should I watch Dynamite tomorrow or mow my lawn, I'd be like, what do you
Depends
doing?
where he lives. I've been to some really bad strip clubs across America. Not really
as
bad.
bad as Dynamite.
Yeah, worse than an episode of Dynamite.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
here.
I've never caught a disease watching unless terminal boredom's a disease.
When we went to Dallas for WrestleMania a few years ago, my friend wanted to go to everyone in the area, and we couldn't go to everyone because Dallas has a lot of them. But we went to a couple that were pretty questionable. So,
did they have a breakfast buffet? Were you dancing through the buffet like Ron Swanson?
There was one that was we went to one that was like used to be owned by somebody from Pantera. That one was pretty cool, but there was one that was and actually the one that was really bad, we actually met a wrestler in. So that was kind of funny. But
Ant got a lap dance from a woman with one butt cheek.
No, I did get a lap dance from a girl, and she bent down and she had like dingleberries. I was like, sweetheart, there's cream you can get for that, love. There really is.
What are you doing?
Advances of medicine these days, lady, is
Oh no! Oh my God! I was taking a sip of a drink, and now I don't want to drink it anymore.
Right. You got a tenor, baby.
On this topic, I spelled out what it meant for you in the private chat. If you want to check that out.
Oh, can I read that, please?
I was like, oh, somebody in the private chat needs something. Oh no, it's just this being very vulgar, saying things that we're not allowed to say because YouTube is prude. Pour one out for the homies. Oh my goodness. MJG for 999 says, what do you make of the rise in AEW fans seeking cheaper ways to view pay-per-views while also pushing for them to get a premium for these rights? Shortchanging AEW while devaluing the brand is weird fandom. No, I agree that whenever they want AEW to succeed, but whenever it's time for the pay-per-views to roll around, it's all of a sudden, as we like to say around here, yo ho, brother. It's pirate. It's pirate time. I have never seen a fan base steal from the company they claim to love more than the AEW fans do.
Because mommy is not giving them permission to get the pay-per-view from the basement. That's why.
There's a journalist named Andrew Badala, and he talks about like, you know what, AEW needs to drop its ticket prices. I'm like, why would they want that to happen? They've got they're swimming in no money. they need to raise ticket prices and also raise their quality of matches.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Did you see this thing that they're doing an AEW like pay-per-view bundle where like you can buy like all the AEW pay-per-views like for a year from Trilla, like in a bundle, like buy them before, like sight unseen. So you have no idea if you're actually interested in these shows, but you can buy them all. And
that's desperation tactics. That's desperation tactics.
Well,
that is the company doesn't think that they can hard sell you the final few weeks. That's what that is.
You know what that also tells me is that we're not about to hear an announcement that they're going to be suddenly, streaming their pay-per-views on Max.
I don't. Maybe, but there'll be clauses in that they can wrap it up at any point with little or no notice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was,
you know what? I can ask because my old boss just became the head of Trilla TV, Eric Winter.
Wow. Oh, really? That's probably the service that I'm going to be using to get All In, because we're going to be live streaming during it. Right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
And, yeah.
Fight's got good tech. Fight doesn't fall down on its arse all the time.
How much do these AEW pay-per-views cost? Are they like $50?
Around
I've never bought one. I always get a freebie. I'm connected.
Oh my goodness.
Me too. I always get a
hear.
freebie. I always get a freebie because I'm connected. That's why.
Yeah,
I
yo
get
ho,
a freebie.
brother.
Yeah. Connected to crime.
I'm connected to the internet. I'm connected. My source is Starlink. By the way.
And really bad eggs. Drink up, me buddies. Yo ho. John Shandy 999 for 199 says Randy Orton is having his brat summer. BT23 for $20. Thank you so much. Says with Sammy losing and nothing for Jay should go to SmackDown. Should Jay go to SmackDown for Roman? For Tooney Khan, the way I would book Brian's year is to have him beat Swerve at All In, then Swerve beats Paige at All Out, have Brian Swerve or Brian Swerve Darby at Wrestle Dream and Washington. I think that's a solid booking plan, but do you guys think they're going to take it off of Swerve to put it on to Danielson? Now, I think Danielson might be of that like Tommy Dreamer mindset of where he's like, I just want to be the workhorse. I want to be the guy that gets guys over. I never want the belt. Because there's that weird mentality in wrestling.
You can get somebody over by dropping the belt to them, though.
That's also true.
That's the conversation someone needs to have with him.
Didn't he call for his retirement a year ago?
Yeah, this is kind of being built as his. It's not his retirement match, but it's his last full-time match. And I saw a weird thing, but I could oddly see it where as like because Tony wants to give him that belt. He wants to so bad.
Probably.
And I could absolutely see something where at the very last minute he goes, "You're winning the belt. You're winning it. I'm giving you the belt." Like just kind of, and even if Danielson just retires and gives it up right afterwards, I could see them doing. I could see him. He's such a mark. I could see him doing it because he's such a mark. And just to say that I gave Bryan Danielson my world title on his last full-time match, I can absolutely see him doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, we can all see it, but I think also like Swerve has not had a good enough, like at this point, if you take the belt off Swerve right now, Swerve's title reign is an utter failure because it has not moved the needle. The needle has gone down.
Right.
And it's almost like a Kathleen Kennedy situation where it's like, well, if she leaves now, she leaves in disgrace. So she's waiting for like a big win. I think, do you think it's time to take it off Swerve and move on? Or do you think that they need to like give him something good?
You got to have Swerve go over on this.
Are they capable of giving Swerve anything good? Is the question.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
they're not. But they're trying.
He's been having good matches.
It's
which by AEW standards is kind of what the success is for them. Is are you having good matches? Okay, cool. And they don't look at many other metrics that deeply.
I know we're gonna.
Match with Ishii was a barn burner.
We're gonna collision, which nobody watched. We're gonna talk about him later, but the devil taught me that it doesn't matter how many 5-star classics you have on a show if there's nothing for the audience to grab onto. No heat equals no house, and this is the definition of insanity with AEW. No stories, no house. No
I think that
that's Kevin Sullivan wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who is going after AEW and holding up their champions not moving the needle as a reason to go after them is being silly, because it doesn't. They could have like Swerve could be doing the best work of his career and being, be the best champion in the world right now. They'd still be going down because the company has no direction and they have no idea what they're doing. MJF didn't move the needle. Samoa Joe didn't move the needle. He's not moving the needle, and the next guy's not going to move the needle unless the whole company. It's a bigger thing than having a champion that's booked well. And so a Magic, switching his booking to where Tony actually cares and books him well isn't going to change anything unless they can get the rest of the show going with it. Because Tony can book one good thing at a time, right? But it's about putting. He's done it before, but he has. Yeah,
that's why he needs more like a full booking team. So Tony has his one good idea, then the other guy has his one or two good ideas. and the other girl has her 1 or 2 good ideas, and then you got 5 or 6 good ideas rather than 1, and then you might get some momentum.
What the heck
Which
was
is
that clip that I saw of Swerve in the ring trading weak forearms and chops with some meatball?
Yeah, Ishii. Ishii.
Oh, is that the one that's the one that Meltzer said is Van Gogh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Vincent Van Gogh.
Well, Van Gogh went mental and ate paint.
Yeah, 8 yellow paint and cut off his ear, I believe Nick had said. Yeah. Good Lord. When I saw that,
That's your
like,
boy,
what?
Ant.
How's it my boy? It's fucking Dutch.
No, he's saying
Different people, you racist.
I don't believe Dave Meltzer is Asian, but still, I think awful is racist. Okay, so get your super chats in, and we will read them all out on the air as we have been doing. But for now, I think it's time to go through. You know what? I think
real quick, Sammy.
What?
We missed Sammy and Jay from the last one.
Oh, Sammy and Jay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I would send them back to. I would. They're gonna have to go to SmackDown to join up with Roman, right? Like.
Yeah.
When Jimmy comes back first, you'll see the movement.
Do you think Jimmy has to come back first, or do you think Jay is going to get involved first, and then Jimmy will come in to save Jay?
I think Roman. Whenever we find out if Jacob is actually hurt, that'll probably when they start putting heat on Roman. No one's coming to SmackDown until Roman gets laid out. Once Roman's actually in trouble and you can see, it's time for him to get a little sympathy, then the family starts to coalesce.
Yeah.
When you look at the Jacob situation, I mean, he's clearly not actually hurt. You injured, you quote unquote work injured him because you didn't. He can't be bumping Roman around, and Roman can't be bumping him around. So you had to take him out. You had to take him out and put him on the sidelines for a second because they've built him up too much at this point, I think.
Yeah, he overshadowed the entire group, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he is a star. Like that guy's a legitimate star. He's the future. And when we were watching SummerSlam and I was watching Solo, and then when I watched him again on SmackDown, I was just like, oh man, this guy ain't it. Like, right. He's the comparison I think I made on Twitter was Solo Sikoa is Goldar. He is the henchman. He is the guy that you beat to get to the guy. A capable guy. He's not Bebop and Rocksteady, but I mean he's Goldar who would fight the entire Power Ranger team at the same time before you got to Lord Zed or whoever it was.
And
honestly, I'm glad I actually got that reference. At first I thought you were just pronouncing Goldust and really realized like, why is he pronouncing Goldust like Goldar? I was like, no, he means the guy, the freaky guy from Power Rangers. I was like, oh, okay,
yep.
I got it. So, yeah, I do get some of your insider terms.
It was my generation. It was kind of
mine too.
It's mostly for Kev, for me and Kev, because Kev and I talk about Goldar all the time. We're big Goldar marks. But yeah,
Kev and I have been talking about this for a while. Where it's that's how Solo is supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to think of him. Is that he's not ready for this. He's not that guy. I think he's going to grow into a great Arn Anderson, but he's never going to be Ric Flair. And I don't think they expected Jacob, though. I do think that kind of threw a wrench in their plans. I don't think they expected him to get over the way he has or perform the way he has.
The fans just like embraced him right away, right? I mean, it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And they didn't really have a history with him.
What's that?
Because
I'm sorry. When you give someone fire in their entrance, that means that someone's for something.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, he is a force of nature, and you see this absolute unit of a human being come in screaming and wrecking people, gets hit with Randy Orton's DDT, and then pops back up immediately. A star was born that night. I mean, he's the guy. You're going to see him in the main event of WrestleMania, I think, within the next 5 to 7 years. I think there's gonna be a very long IC title or US title reign in his future, and he's gonna be the guy to I think he's the guy that Heyman ends up going with when Roman's gone. But I don't know, man. He's just amazing. Shaggy Phil 73 for $10 checking in says the only way to save AEW's ratings is to hold out hope all the people who suffer from ADHD discover AEW's existence. That's the only ones who can find high spot matches with zero stories interesting. Yeah. You know what, Shaggy Phil 73, you are correct in that assumption. Like everyone with ADHD, like just get a get a list of everyone who's medicated and just like automatically switch their channels over to TBS one Wednesday night and see what happens.
They go to commercials like ADHD. Like, oh, you'll be in the middle of a match. All of a sudden, a Taco Bell ad shows up. Like,
well, I was about to say sometimes you go to a Taco Bell ad right in the middle of a right in the middle of a hype video for one of your main guys who's a little beanpole, nothing.
I think ADHD is a very politically correct term to use there. I could think of about 5 other disorders that fit that description better.
Producer Wise Man Neckbeard for $2 Canadian says Solo is Starscream, Roman is Megatron, and
beautiful yes. Neckbeard.
Yep. Ruben Hart for $5 said, should Bronson Reed fight Odyssey Jones or Braun to the big fight he wants? I would like to see him with Braun. Odyssey Jones, I was not super impressed with Odyssey Jones last night. That match was not good.
His introduction was good, but the match, you're exactly.
To be fair, he hasn't wrestled in a year. So,
his introduction was fantastic when he came in and he was doing the double sidewalk slam, and I was excited for him. And then last night, man, when he was facing that NXT guy, the Performance Center guy, I was just like, man, this ain't it. This ain't it.
I think he's the one turning heel, by the way.
Oh, you think Xavier is a red herring?
I think it's a red herring. I think Jones is the one turning heel. He was thrown in by the Final Testament to throw a wrench in him, that whole thing. That's what I'm thinking right now. But it could
that would involve a lot more of the Final Testament on my TV, so I hope you're wrong.
What a swerve, bro.
Please pair him up with Bronson Reed so they can become the Twin Towers.
Oh, yeah. Or the natural disasters.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting Twin Towers ever again, but natural.
No, right. Yeah, awful.
Natural disasters.
How offensive was that?
All right, we'll call them World Trade Centers. I don't know.
John JID 999. John JID 999 for 199 says, I have ADHD. Tony is on Vyvanse 70 milligrams, definitely.
Oh, man.
I would explain why he doesn't blink. Blink to moisten eyelids.
Cocaine is only one molecule away from Adderall.
That is true. That is true.
It is true. I was on Adderall for years, and I've also done some of the other stuff when I was a little younger, and I couldn't tell the difference.
The first time I went,
of course, I was snorting it, so
The first time I ever went on ADHD medication, I was so wired and just felt like I could lift the world. And I remember I reached out to my one friend who I knew had a fun past, and I was like, "Is this what Coke was like?" And she was like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, "Oh, I could have totally gotten behind that." Wow. Those days are long.
Take from this conversation, kids.
No.
Just say no.
Feel great. It makes you feel great and thin. No, I'm kidding.
Don't do drugs alone.
Do not. That is not a thing. Don't do drugs. I don't
do drugs and watch Dynamite.
I am.
Have to.
I am almost straight edge, pretty much. I've never done drugs, and I drink very seldomly. But the
What about the gear? Didn't you tell me you were on the gear?
The what?
The gear. TRT, the steroids. You told me about that, yeah?
No, I was never on. I was never on. No, I never did that. Trust me, I never did that. I would have.
Ryback was on it.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
What? Shocking. No.
Oh my
more.
Feed me more drugs.
Gear.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let me look at.
That's why you need to be fed more. You always had the munchies.
That's very true. That is very, very true. All right, you know what? I think we're having fun, but I think it is time we have to talk about something that's not as fun. and that is the fact that wrestling lost a legend of the ring this past week when the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan tragically passed away. Kev, how old was he?
74.
74 years old. Now, I'm going to let Kevin Apollo kind of lead this conversation because Kevin knew Kevin Sullivan and worked with him pretty closely. So, Kev, tell us a little bit about Kevin Sullivan, the man, as you knew him.
Dude, Kevin Sullivan was awesome. I met him at one of my mall shows, I think 2022. A last minute addition. Someone that he works with was like, hey, I've got Sullivan in town. Can he come do a signing? And I felt bad because it was just so last minute. No one, even really knew he was there, but he got there super early. I got him hooked up and he just kind of hung out. And at the end of the show, he walks in and goes, I think this is the meeting of Lennon and McCartney. And then, we sat down and he just like dumped a world's worth of knowledge. And he's a very giving guy. Loved doing all this stuff. Checked in. And again, just it's unfortunate that that someone with such as a great mind, we kind of we lost him a little too soon. Although listen, at 74, to have the career he had and live the life he lived, most of us can only be but so lucky. But I really feel like he had a lot more to give. He had a lot more to give. He had a lot more to do. But what a gentleman, what a professional. Just a good human. Just a good human.
And one of the greatest minds of all time, right? I mean, like the booker of WCW during Boom period. Just a great writer. Great. I think maybe on in honor of Kevin Sullivan over on Patreon, Kev, you and I should do a watch along of Hulk Hogan in the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, also I would my favorite Sullivan thing. I had to ask him about it. So it's in Florida, and I think it's Purple Haze is wrestling Blackjack Mulligan, and then so obviously Sullivan comes down, and then the two of them start beating up on Blackjack, and then Dusty runs in, and all hell breaks loose, and then Sullivan has a spike, and he runs over to stab Dusty. But then Blackjack pushes him out of the way, and he gets stabbed in the eye, and he's bleeding from the eye. And Dusty's like, "Somebody call an ambulance!" And all the baby faces run down. And then the story goes, Sullivan is suspended immediately. And then somehow he petitions the NWA to bring him back, and he has to make an apology on TV. And he's sitting there with this box in his lap, giant, but looks like a cake box. And while he's talking, he goes, "I'm sorry for what I did, but none of that matters because the king is dead." And he opens up the box and he pulls out a dummy of Blackjack Mulligan's head. And everybody starts freaking out because it was a great looking dummy. And he starts going, "The king is dead! The king is dead!" And then the feed cuts. So it's like, listen, if you even remember this, how did you guys get away with that? Like, I know it was the 80s. It was a magical time. And he starts laughing and goes, "Oh, it's because we donated to the Boys and Girls Club and the PBAs. They let us do whatever we wanted to do, whatever we were in town, because they knew they were going to get money. It was just a laugh."
Kev, I got a question. How much of his size affected him doing the more quote unquote satanic gimmick? Was that a thing that helped him despite his, because this was the land of the Giants back then. He wasn't a tall guy.
Dude, he's a super fitness fanatic. I mean, despite his size, he was probably the original thick boy. That guy was like a walking refrigerator. Like, when you see him standing there, like, listen, you can see him standing next to Tony Atlas. And he is just as thick, just as, if probably thicker than Tony Atlas. But he was very, you watch his match, he's a very physical competitor, very, very intense. I think, just his larger than life personality overrode his size. Listen, at the end of the day, it's probably why he never got a really big, run in WWE, but was successful everywhere else, because WWF was the land of the Giants. But sometimes it's, one of the things I learned was in wrestling, you don't have to be a great wrestler to be successful in wrestling.
Right.
You have to be serviceable, but it all comes down to personality. And I don't think there's anybody who probably had more personality. Listen, if we didn't have Kevin Sullivan, you don't get Raven. You don't get Raven. You don't get Bray. He blazed the trail that that a lot of people are walking down now. So it's I pop for Ellering having the X on his head on Monday. It was super cool. I have like a ton of fun Sullivan stories to tell. I know we don't have enough time, but I do have a couple.
Tell us a good one, Kev.
Okay. All right. So he was in town. We were doing a show in New York City for Outlaw Wrestling, and it's a Friday. The show was supposed to start at 7. His cab was late, so he gets dropped off like 8 blocks away from the building, but it's 5 o'clock in New York City, so 8 blocks away is it can be like a 45-minute drive. He's like, I'll walk it. I'm like, you can't walk it. You're 72. Bad back, bad hips, bad knees. So we're scrambling to figure out how to get someone to pick him up. So we're like, well, we're gonna Uber again. Well, it's like the last Uber effed it up. So Bull James jumps in the car and he goes to get him. On his way there, Kevin calls him, brother. I don't know what's going on, but I'm standing outside here. Pop, pop, pop. The sirens on, and now the cops are shooting up everybody. They're shooting everybody up in here. Bull was like, all right, listen, it's probably not real. They film a lot of Law and Order over there. It's like one of their favorite spots to film. I don't know, brother. The guy ran out and now he's down. There's blue everywhere. So, all right, go find someplace to hold up. I'll be there like 10-15 minutes. He finds this out, and so he's wearing he's wearing like this orange zoot suit, just big orange zoot suit with a white shirt, and he's got like a Kango hat. So Bull gets there, and he's in the pizza place, and he's like, "What happened?" Because now the cop cars are everywhere. I told you, brother. I don't know what the other brother did, but the cops came out and they lit him up. And I said, I gotta go. And he's like, are you okay? And he looks around and he's bullets around him. He's been holding court because everybody in the pizza place is sitting around him. And
it's the taskmaster.
I'm okay. I'm here with my peoples.
Oh, it's amazing.
He gets up, someone walks his briefcase to Bull's car, and then they go do the show. And I'm like, I'm like, it's everyone. When we get bored, I'll call him back, brother. They're shooting up the place.
They're shooting up the. I love that he's just like in the middle of a firefight. That's amazing to me. Oh my goodness.
I love Kevin Sullivan. I experienced his in-ring stuff much later. And the Varsity Club and all the Florida stuff was so good. But I really liked how even the stuff that didn't hit, there was something to it every time when he was booking. Like, say what you will about the Dungeon of Doom, right? But it was at least fun and interesting and different. It's like, and you get into the peaks from the big Monday Night Wars with like him and Benoit. That was. Say what you will about that whole thing, but that was so well done. And him and Pillman was great. And then you go into and then you go into the stuff with that he did this. He was behind the stuff with DDP and Macho Man. That had Kevin Sullivan all over it. A lot of that Raven stuff. He just you could always tell what Kevin Sullivan, what his fingerprints were on in that era.
Right.
And I thought it was so cool even back then. And then I think the last thing I really wish they would have played this. And I guess probably it's too late now, but we talked about it just last week. The promo that he did with Karrion Kross that never made it to television. It's like 4 minutes long, and it's him like passing the torch of the devil on the Karrion Kross. And it was so well done. And he was still such a captivating performer, even on there, even that little amount of time. Kevin Sullivan can't be replaced.
definitely not. He was such
Once
a
in a
mind.
lifetime.
I love the Kevin Nash story where he calls Kevin Sullivan the night after the Mike Tyson WrestleMania. And Kevin, I'm not going to do his voice. I'm not going to do it justice, but he says, did you feel that, Kev? And Kev goes, what? He was like, it's getting cold. About to hit the iceberg. He knew that the death of WCW was on its way after just one match in the WWF. He to have that sort
it
of
was the
mind.
Austin era, you know. It was
Yeah,
Stone
I
Cold
mean,
316, you know.
But he was like one of the very few that knew what this meant for the company of WCW. And he tried like hell to let everybody know, but fell on deaf ears.
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, Kevin Sullivan. Awesome personality, to the point where people actually believe some real heinous things about him when that real heinous thing happened. We all know. Yeah. Like,
the less said about it, the better. I don't want to talk
You
about
know what?
that.
You don't want to give credence to the humanoids.
Well,
no.
what I
That's
think we
what
can
Twitter's
bring up.
for.
What I think we can bring up is I love the fact that even that Hogan was selling him being a devil worshiper in the mid 2000s still. Whenever he'd be asked about Kevin Sullivan, he's like, I don't know about that guy, brother. He's into some weird devil stuff,
Right.
And whether that's Hogan working or Kevin being so good that Hogan believed it, either way, it's fantastic.
Remember when he turned into like Doc Hogan though, and he did the Kevin Sullivan face paint, and it was just like the worst thing that's ever happened. And he had the sword. Shaggy Fifth 73 with a really good point. How does awful like Sullivan and not the Wyatt Six?
Very simple.
Justify yourself.
He's got stock. He's got a history, and it was good. Like, just like this said, in Florida, I mean, my goodness, he was raising hell down there. Everywhere he went. Now, I know Shaggy Filth is talking about the Dungeon of Doom. Let's get real. It was to me, that wasn't his best work, but I let it slide because it's Kevin effing Sullivan.
Yeah. The only reason why the Dungeon of Doom was even somewhat serviceable was because of him.
Yeah. I actually really dug the whole Kevin Evad Sullivan thing back in the day. Like when I was a kid.
I forgot all about the varsity club. Come on, guys. Come on. It was perfect.
I personally, my favorite Kevin Sullivan thing, and it's a terrible thing, but it's still my favorite, is Hulk Hogan in the Dungeon of Doom. There's the Hulkamaniacs here. I've never been here before.
That's not hot.
When he touches the water, goes, it's not hot. I'm like, what? Do you think that was scripted, or do you think like Hogan's just improvising? Like,
improv. There's no way
here.
You don't script me, brother.
I've gone back and watched the 3 stages, the triple cage match against the Alliance to end Hulkamania about 10 times.
Oh, when Hogan and Savage kill the entire heel roster.
It was the Dungeon of Doom and the 4 Horsemen getting together to destroy Hulkamania, the Alliance to end Hulkamania.
I remember that. The triple cage, long before Ready to Rumble was a movie. John JID 999 asks, is there, besides YouTube, is there a place with CWF content? I don't know. I've never seen it anywhere else.
Continental Florida. Yeah,
maybe Tubi or just YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, it's places like Tubi and Pluto.
Ernest Cruz is saying a little bit in Tubi.
Yeah.
So there you go. John says he's never seen the Dungeon of Doom. Well, that was WCW, and so like if you want to see that, then I can recommend a couple shows for you. But
I gave him a rundown yesterday. So
yeah, I don't really recommend watching a lot of the Dungeon of Doom because
Varsity Club.
Varsity Club, man.
Yeah, I mean
the
that's
Yeti.
Yeah,
the Yeti's coming to hug you to death.
With Hogan and the Big Show, you got at least
where he threw him off a Cobo Hall.
See, I think to me, why you got to watch all that stuff. Like WCW was so interesting from beginning to end. There's no skipping going on there. It's even if it's bad, it's interesting.
But then you gotta watch the match where the Yeti hugs Hogan to death.
Yeah,
hugs.
Massive man.
The power of your hug, brother. I can't take it.
The power of evil hugs
video right out of me.
I mean, they did give us the Faces of Fear Dungeon of Doom did give us Faces of Fear, which was a great tag team.
Yes.
It gave us those awesome Jimmy Hart coats. You remember with all the with all the airbrushing, and then
the Zodiac was my favorite version of Brutus Beefcake. So
and Mr. Hughes
definitely not the Booty Man.
Mr.
he was for a little bit.
People forget about him. So
I've got a question.
You know, Ming was in there. Go ahead.
Who was the big guy in the Dungeon of Doom?
The big
was
show?
that King Ayakea? Like, no. It was a dude who just sat on the throne the entire time.
Oh, the guy that was like Sullivan's father?
Yeah.
Who was that? I don't remember.
I
know it was somebody. It was like a work.
King Curtis.
I just can't remember who it is.
King Curtis.
King Curtis.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I used to just say King Hippo.
When I was a kid, I thought it was Dave Sullivan. When I was a kid, I thought it was Dave Sullivan.
It was Dave Sullivan?
I was like 9. Give me a break.
Oh my god. The rabbit? Like that was Dave Sullivan, right? The guy that did the feud with DDP over the arm wrestling?
Yeah, he was Evad. He was Dave. He was Kevin's brother. They were a tag team, and then they became Evad when he went crazy. And he was in love with Kimberly, I think.
He was in love with Kimberly, yeah. They feuded over the Battle Bowl Lord of the Ring.
Yes. Oh man.
Which Tooney Khan resurrected that concept of the ring being the thing that people are feuding over.
Yeah.
See, you gotta watch it all.
It does, but the ring thing doesn't work because you can't really see the ring. Just like the friendship bracelet doesn't work, I don't think.
Dude, that's actually
about the bracelet, it's about the emotional connection.
Well, no, I get that. I understand what the bracelet signifies, but
it's a friendship bracelet. Was it the Britt Baker friendship bracelet? Is that what it is?
No, it's when Drew McIntyre took CM Punk's like friendship bracelet that has his dog and his wife's name on it.
Yeah. That's a punk
bracelet
rock thing though.
That bracelet is more over than anybody in AEW.
The bracelet. Alfred Canoe, I believe, said that the bracelet's now more over than the AEW World Title.
Yeah,
but
it's a punk rock thing. You know, it's the idea that something so small and insignificant to most people can mean the world to him, and it makes sense in his head. You know,
Tom Gold got a hold of the number one dime.
I do think that AEW uses rings better than TNA did. When Abyss had the Hulk Hogan Hall of Fame ring, and it gave him the power of Hulkamania.
Take my ring, brother. I got this. And when you put it on your finger, you're gonna feel my power. And then the power of Hulkamania towards the red and yellow Abyss.
And then he fought Ric Flair to try to win his ring, so he could be the ultimate. He could have both their power.
and then they gave Flair's ring to Lethal, and it turned him into Ric Flair. Yeah. Like, what is going on with these Hall of Fame rings that just contain the essence of the wrestler?
Maybe that was better than what AEW does with rings. Actually,
I love that. Like they turned them into the rings of power, and we all know Vince had the one ring to rule them all, and still probably does.
No, he has.
Remember when Vince got Michael Cole to say the Big Show was so big that he could get his whole fist inside his ring? I mean, that was a tip off, wasn't it, guys? It really was. He literally he shouted from grill position to get poor Cole to say this. I need to say that his fingers are so big you can get your hand in his whole ring. He just had to repeat this on air. I mean,
the other problem,
I know that all that stuff's gross, but come on, dude's got a sense of humor.
The other problem is when you put on Hulk Hogan's ring, if you're wearing like camouflage and you're not a soldier, or work boots, or extra large pants, they'll just burn off of you.
Yeah.
So, oh my god! Somebody brought up the point that they were like, "Hey, how Punk like left is like the unbeaten AEW champion. Well, now is technically Drew McIntyre the unbeaten AEW champion,
right? Linear champion, there you
the
go.
Real AEW champion." I'm shocked that Drew McIntyre hasn't tweeted that yet because his Twitter is just so savage.
Yeah. He might have been deleted it. We just didn't see it. He does that all the time.
That guy, well, yeah, because he tweets things and Triple H is like, what?
I don't know. I think he does it more as like just to mess with people at this point, because there's been some that got left on that I was like, how in the world is that being left on when this got deleted? And I think he just does it sometimes to, troll.
Did the Jack Perry picture?
We all need to tweet him that he's the linear AEW channel. Everyone listening, pause, go to Twitter,
and tell Drew McIntyre.
Or X if you insist. And tweet at him that he's the linear champion. There you go. Thank you, Kevin.
All right. What else we got tonight? Oh, so are you guys ready for tomorrow for the major announcement? I mean, we had a major announcement earlier tonight, but now we're gonna have another major announcement from Tooney Khan instead of Tooney Khan on Dynamite tomorrow. Good Lord. You know what? I said on Twitter, I enjoy his new stuff, but sometimes it's just nice to hear the classics played. The greatest, the Tooney Khan greatest hits. This is his Freebird. It's just how many times are they going to go to that with that same graphic? It's got to be a troll at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
No, they're not trolling. Yeah, we just said Vince had a sense of humor. Tony doesn't.
Oh,
no,
he's humorless.
No, there's no humor in anything they do. So they're definitely not trolling.
The announcement's going to be they now serve ketchup with their fries at the concession stands.
Well, they weren't. If they weren't already, then shame on them. But the problem is that whenever he makes one of these major announcements, there's always something bigger that people are expecting him to announce that he doesn't announce. And right now, you announce this major announcement. Everyone assumes this is the TV deal. You're gonna talk about where you're gonna end up. And I don't think it's the TV deal, because that's not how TV deals are announced.
Hell no. And it's announcements, Marv. It's not just one. It's going to be many, and it's going to be looming large in the next few hours or days or whatever.
Last year they did the same thing around upfronts. Remember, they were saying they have there's big announcements, and everyone thought it was going to be the deal because of upfronts. And even Dave Meltzer actually said it was going to be the deal because of upfronts. And no, it was Collision and CM Punk, but nothing about the deal. That was a year ago, by the way. That's how long we've been talking about this new deal.
Collision actually is a big deal, like a big announcement. Like, but sometimes he'll be like big announcement, and he'll be like, all in tickets are going on sale on someday. Like, it's he always misses with these.
Right.
And then that's just having bad PR. That's bad PR. So the reason when I was at the UFC for 15 years is we occasionally had that. We'd have a big announcement. This is a really long time ago, and everybody thought that they've signed Fedor Emelianenko, and UFC never did sign him, and never was going to sign him. Dane did everything he could to get the Russian guys who are in charge of his career, to be sensible. And they couldn't do a deal, but to kind of, that's just bad PR. What you do is you call a couple of trusted journalists and you say, hey, it's this, so you can write your story. As soon as we go live at 17 minutes past 7, you can have your story published. Here's some quotes, but hold that, embargo it. Here's 3 possibilities we want you to say it could be. That's how you do PR. That's how you limit expectations. You you move the conversation away from what it's not. That's what you and this isn't like groundbreaking shit. This is how PRs work for like at least 100 years. At least 100 years. This is what you do. But from what I heard, like a friend of mine was talking to AEW about, it's like, this is going back almost just after the pandemic. And she was interested in applying for a job there. And I said, like, she used to work for me at the UFC and the PR team. She was like, what do you think? I was like, I don't think they have a PR team. It's like, they don't have a PR shop. They have no one who does that. I don't know if that's changed.
If they do, it's terrible. If they do, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like Amanda Huber, isn't it? Isn't she the one that's in charge of all that stuff?
No, she does heels.
I know, but I thought that wasn't like that. Heels is nothing. Heels takes 5 seconds to do a week. No, I think she does like social media and PR and stuff for them.
Yeah, social. You don't have one social media is that's like a term from 15 years ago, or 10 years ago. Beware anyone who says they have a social media manager. They just announced and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And if you combine it with social media and PR, then you don't have a good YouTube strategy, Facebook strategy, Twitter strategy, Instagram strategy, TikTok strategy, and you sure as hell don't have a real public relations strategy.
And isn't this back end
I've learned
work?
something tonight about them. I've learned some that is I wouldn't say half the battle, but that's like 25% of why people are just dumping on. Yes, it's bad, but there's ways to put your thumb on the scales, and they're not doing that.
Interesting.
Do you believe that? Well, obviously you would know. That's back end work, correct? Like that's stuff that's done behind the scenes. You know, it's never going to be publicized or talked about, but it's stuff that needs to be. Yeah, it's stuff that needs to happen in the back end.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, you one thing like, and look, the UFC doesn't run PR like it did when I was there, but what you need to have a dialogue and relationship with the people who cover you. You need to have some sort of credibility. Like one is, I never lied to anyone. Like that's why I'm still friends with Ariel Helwani, Luke Thomas, Sullivan Ashati, Mark Raimondi, who just left the UFC, WWE beating ESPN. I'm still friends with him because I'd never lied to them. The worst I ever said to him is obviously I know I can't tell you, Mark, or I can't tell you, Ariel.
Right.
Occasionally I'd be able to say, if you write what you just told me you're going to write, you're going to be wrong. So don't make a fool of yourself. And I never lied to him. And then you can look. It's all about who you know and what you know, as well as what you know. You've got AEW should. They're small, and this is one of the things that they should be doing. WWE does those press conferences after the pay-per-views they do, or the PLEs, and it's not a real news conference. It's great TV. It's great TV. It's great for coverage, but that's what they're getting exactly what they want out of it. AEW could go and do what the WWE aren't going to do. That's have real relationships with the media and press. Instead of just denigrating them or like, oh, you're just a hater, engage with them. That's look at UFC had some terrible times with coverage. And what you do, you've got to be in the conversation. If you're going to change the conversation, you've got to at least join it. That's what I would do if I was Tony Khan. I'd hire he's a little bit too old now, but Jim Byrne, who used to be head of PR for WWE, that's what they did. When they metamorphed from being an absolute joke, but nobody wanted to cover them other than just in a sneering kind of way, Jim Byrne was the guy who had real journalists and saying, "Hey, we're not saying cover as a sport. We're saying cover as an American institution, as something that a lot of your readers are interested in. That's what you should cover it as." Right. But yeah, segue here on the show. But yeah, it's such an easy win that AEW could be going for. But to have an effective PR person, you've got to give a degree of autonomy to your PR shop, and that again, I just comes back to Tony Khan. I can't see him being told, "Hey, we're gonna release this bit of information ahead of the show." I just can't see that working.
So, are you saying that you think that it's gonna be the TV deal?
No, it's not going to be the TV deal. Definitely not. I can't imagine so. I mean, I think it could be, because that's not how you would do it, and they do a lot of things that aren't the best practices.
But wouldn't WBD want to announce the TV deal themselves in a press release to their
right?
To their stockholders and investors and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, the best thing you'd want to do it in the trades. What you want to do is look. It's important to tell your audience, but your audience. When do your audience need to know? Well, if you're staying in the same place, they don't need to know because there's never going to be a change. So if your audience don't, if you're moving, you need to tell them. If you're moving to, if they're moving to Netflix or you moving to ESPN Plus, you got to tell them as soon as you can. Yeah. But who do they need to speak to now? Well, they need to speak to the serious press who are now doing stories like today, and I think it was I don't know if it was Vanity Fair or somewhere like that. Forbes was saying basically they're in trouble. Okay. They need to change those people's opinion, and one of the ways you do it is like, hey, actually, would you like to do a story on this? You need to go to the trade magazines, the Hollywood magazines, because who reads that? People who might want to advertise. Snickers, M&Ms, whatever else it is. You go in the trades because you look at who you need to get this message to. It's about 200 or 300. Yeah, exactly. You need to get it to the 200 or 300 people in the country who are making decisions where they're going to spend the money for the rest of the year and the lead up to Christmas. That's who you need to get this to. Like, oh, Warner signed this huge new deal with this. Oh, wow, it's the #1 show, and you dressed up as best you can. That's what they need to be doing. If they do and just announce it to keep the marks happy who watch the show every week, right? I don't want to tell you. I don't know if they do that.
We all know the way Tony thinks because he voices his every thought aloud. And you know that it's killing him that he hasn't been able to announce the deal and that people online are saying mean things about it. Like, yeah, that's the kind of thing that would not even be a blip to like a Nick Khan. Like he doesn't care about that. But like,
I have a question, Ed. How soon do these networks start scheduling their next wave of programming? Like we're 5 months away from the new year. Shouldn't AEW be like in a slotted time slot by now with TBS?
Yes, they should. Yeah, it's not unheard of. It's really not. But for both sides, they would have preferred to reach the deal by now.
Right.
They really would. Look how far away UFC announces its deals. Look how far away WWE announced the Netflix deal.
Right. And you mentioned it earlier. You also said that they could still get a deal, but they could still be canceled at the same time. Like there could be a clause in the contract that says like we can boot you off the air and start doing episodes of Family Guy.
Yeah, I doubt. I mean, in this day and age, those are rarer. They really are.
The exclusivity period is over, so he could be
exactly
to other networks.
Right. The exclusivity period is the period where both sides would have expected a year, 2 years ago to have reached a deal during that time.
2 years ago. That's how far they usually do that. Wow.
Oh yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Dude, they're cooked.
Yeah. I mean, look, they could pull it out. They really could. They really could. But
like
they're at a weaker. They're weaker now. They're a weaker hand now than they had a year ago. A weaker hand now than they had last week. A weaker hand than the week before.
Yeah. So let's have some fun. What is the announcement? What do you guys think?
Mercedes Monet reality show. Would not be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Something having to do with Meat Mayhem. He copyrighted. He copyrighted that term just last week, and that's the same avenue that he took with Collision. Remember when we spelled Collision wrong and had to retrademark it? But I mean, there we are.
I'm thinking it's something AEW ROH related.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably,
and I honestly. Go ahead.
I would say they're going to rebrand to AEW ROH so that they can get ROH on TV, like in places like Rampage or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it might be the other way, though. I think it might be so they can put AEW content on Honor Club and then kind of boost that. Because if they're the same company, why not?
I mean, he could just put AEW stuff on Honor Club to begin with anyway. He could just change the name of Honor Club.
Right.
Yeah. We don't need to change the name. Just look, added bonus.
Yeah.
TNA looked at buying Ring of Honor.
Right. Well, I just think that he was holding on to that stuff because he was hoping he was going to get a streaming deal with Max, and I think it's kind of not going to happen now. So this would be the way to kind of introduce that.
Oh, but they were uploading it in France.
Yeah. And I can watch Raw from a month ago on DirecTV. So does that mean that they have a deal with AT&T now? Is that what we're going to say?
with the satellites themselves, the
Yeah.
satellites.
What is the
Andre-
point, honestly, guys? What is the point in Ring of Honor right now? Seriously.
It's a Tooney Khan vanity project. That's it. There's
To
nobody
get
watches
wrestlers
it.
paid.
Well, I'm not saying
that's
what
a big
is that's cool. You know, there's more wrestlers that have gainful employment, but why? Why you don't need a feeder league? You're nowhere near. I think they did it just because. Well, WWE has NXT, we have Ring of Honor. Oh, you have two shows, we have two shows. So you're nowhere near big enough for this. Nowhere near ready for this.
The thing is, they don't treat it as a feeder league. They don't treat it as a feeder league. They just treat it as its own company. Like to them, NXT, they hate the concept of NXT because they believe that you already know everything you have to know. You don't have to learn anything. So you look at Ring of Honor. Tony Khan liked Ring of Honor. He was a fan of Ring of Honor, and WWE wanted Ring of Honor because WWE wanted the video library and they wanted maybe more content for the network at the time, and that's why he bought that on an impulse. Kevin, what do you think?
I was saying if the pandemic doesn't happen, it's pretty likely that WWE scoops up Ring of Honor because they wanted it for the travel infrastructure for NXT, and the video library. So it's sitting there, and Tony pays a god awful amount of money for it that it shouldn't have gotten, just because he could, because he wanted to say he had Ring of Honor. And I sit there like, well, what did you really get out of it? Like, again, and I know everybody gets mad when I say it, but I'm like, if Ring of Honor was as popular as Ring of Honor fans said it was, Ring of Honor would have never been in trouble. If a great match happened in Ring of Honor, it was the equivalent of a tree falls in the woods.
I'm telling you, because I saw it, the Honor Club isn't worth shit. Their YouTube and their Facebook businesses weren't even a fraction of what TNA's were. Because TNA, Scott D'Amore asked me to take a look at it and asked me, tell me, hey, come, is it worth buying? What would you pay for it? I was like, with my money, fucking nothing. Like with your money, we're talking like, it's like low six figures. And he goes, well, they're talking about WWE. I was like, look, if WWE wants it, they can buy it. If Tony Khan really wants it, he can buy it. And that's what ended up happening. But there was nothing there. I can't. I would tell you the numbers because I'm not under an NDA, but I can't remember. But Honor Club, it was nothing like as big as Impact Plus with the Ultimate Insiders. It was nothing like as big, nothing like as big. The database was hadn't been kept properly. It had been completely mismanaged, and Scotty had already picked up, around Honor No More. He'd already picked up some of the top guys from Ring of Honor. I was like, hey, we've already got what you want. I was like, could I use more matches for our YouTube business? Yeah. Do I need these? No. I've got a 20-year library, from Hulk Hogan all the way, for AJ Styles through the Josh Alexander era. It's like, don't need it. It's like there's nothing to buy here that we really need to buy. Unless it's a fire sale, then buy it in a fire sale. It's like, don't try and outbid Tony Khan and WWE because there's fucking nothing there.
Well, I think that now the reports that Tony paid $40 million for it. I don't know if I believe that.
No. There's no way. There's no way. Unless they needed to get rid of 40 million and it was cheaper to do that than buy the gasoline to get the fire started. That is absolutely wrong. That is absolutely wrong. I'm telling you.
I thought that sounded like it wasn't accurate. Cornette even said that there was no way that was true.
No way.
I can't imagine he's that.
Not even
dumb.
Not even an eighth. If he paid $5 million, his dad needs to send him back to his room for a month or something. I don't know. Even it was not worth anything. It's just not worth anything.
When you took a look at it, what would you say it would have been worth if a sale was going to happen?
150,000 maybe.
Wow. Was that big?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of the contracts for the wrestlers, they weren't contracts. It wasn't like when UFC bought Pride, where they got all these different, a better example, when UFC bought a company called WFA that only did a handful of shows, a handful. Oh. Yeah, but they had Quids and Rampage Jackson under contract. So they're like, we'll just buy the company so we have Rampage. Wow. And so that's what they did. You know, whatever they paid was worth it because Rampage, you know, sold a ton of merch, ton of tickets, ton of pay-per-views, and was a big star for years for them. Ring of Honor, from best I can remember, the top people weren't under a real contract. You know, it was pro wrestling contract. You know, it's
right.
You know, that they could appear anyway. You know, a lot of TNA wrestlers are not under a contract like most people listening to this podcast would understand a contract is. It's like you can't do anything else, you can't go anywhere else. It doesn't work that, you know, below WWE AEW level, it just doesn't work like that. So I kept saying to Scott, what are you buying? Well, the library. It's like the library sucks. It's like they're on half of it, like it looks like he had someone standing next to the ring with a fucking Bic lighter to light it. It's like it's terrible. You know? I was like, it's amateur shit.
I would like to point out that the no F-bombs mandate on Tooney Town Wrestling was the idea and decree of Aunt Evans.
Yeah, well, that's the shoot Aunt Evans. You gave him the character.
I believe the quote was, Marv, every time you do an F-bomb, you're costing yourself money.
I love how the only British accent you can do is this kind of like just north of the River Thames accent.
I can. Here's the thing: I can do a British accent.
It's terrible.
I can do a British accent. I can't do your British accent for some reason. I've tried so many times. It's like this weird amalgam, but no,
that's what everyone tells me. What everyone tells me is like this horrible garble, like somewhere like mid-Atlantic. And it's like, well, there's nothing. I've been to the mid-Atlantic when I fly over. There's nothing there. Like nobody talks like that. It's like, well, you do. You know.
No, but this is amazing.
Yeah, but we're look. I did before I started dropping them. I did. We're very deep into past the hour mark, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're fine. Okay. We're fine. Let them fly. Yeah. Not you, awful. No, not you, awful, because you'll never stop.
What I said is like, don't get Apollo going because he starts dropping the real bombs. You know.
Well, yeah, no.
I'm throwing grenades. Like he just goes H bombs, and I don't mean with a H.
The F-bomb for Kevin Apollo is the gateway curse because if he starts F-bombing, the C-bomb and the T-bomb are not too far behind. So that's when we have the problem.
Like, is the T-bomb really that bad?
To YouTube, yes.
Yes, I was at YouTube the other month, and they had this whole presentation on it. And I mean, I knew I was at the right place because I got there and in the men's bathroom they had tampons, so I knew it was Google. But they did a whole speech and they said you can say fuck, you can say that. Now, obviously, you can't say the N word or the C word. I'm thinking, what race is the C word?
As a guy raised in the UK, I mean, that word flows like wine. It's,
my 1 year of rugby between the South Africans and the Irish, it was like every third word.
I discovered rugby during the Olympics this year, and I was like, are there rules? Like, what is happening right now? I had no idea what was going on. But no, that's how
if you're British, if you're British, you really want to offend American, just refer to American football as rugby for pussies and just lose that mind.
I called it that while we were watching. I was sitting there next to my father, and we're sitting there. My father's a big football guy, and I can't stand American football. And so, like, we're sitting there and we're watching it, and I was like, huh. So American football players are just big pussies, huh? Because these guys aren't wearing nothing. They're wearing no helmets. They're wearing no pads. They're just dive bombing each other. And,
sometimes they'll even wear jock straps.
My God, it was just like a fight with a ball. Like, that's what I watched. It was just like 10 guys fighting each other while a ball like rolled around somewhere in the near vicinity of them. It was amazing.
I think that's what so I had a call the other day from you ever heard of a sport from India called kabaddi?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest. So it's basically like tag or tick, where you got a gang of. So it's basically like this. You got and I come from an area of the UK where we have a lot of Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Indian immigrants. So they would play this on the play yard, like when we were like 7. So I think it's like 9 on the side, but I'm not quite sure about that. But anyway, one guy goes forward and says to me, I've got to tag one member of your team and then haul ass back to the line. As soon as I touch somebody, like even like a finger, then everybody just piles on and fights. So they're all trying to get me. So I'm basically I'm like the player, the quarterback, and the ball at the same time. And everyone's trying to kick the shit out of me before I get back. And then my guys just run forward and they're just punching, kicking, they're slamming, they're doing chokeholds.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy enough, but the whole time that I'm coming forward, I can't just wander up and just tag. I've got to be holding my breath. Well, how do they know you're holding your breath? Because, you got nostrils. You can just go. Yeah, I was holding my breath, You have to go, you have to say the word kabuddy over and over, like kabuddy, 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 kabuddy. And some of these dudes can say that fucking word for like 3-4 minutes straight. Kabuddy, 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 kabuddy. And then they tag it. And so I was talking to these guys, like, yeah, we think this is really going to take off in the US. I'm like, I'm not sure it will, but I want to be involved. This is so nuts. I want to be involved in this.
Are you sure this isn't like the Jiggly Ball episode of Scrubs where they were like, hey, I bet we can make this guy believe that we invented this sport? It's like a really big deal in India. Tell the Englishmen that we've invented this sport, and it's just we get to wail on them for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's awesome. It is.
This one's for Gandhi.
It's the extreme version of Duck Duck Goose in India. They just do everything.
There was
20 years younger.
I watched more of this Olympics than I've ever watched of any Olympics that has ever happened because Mrs. Movie Monster was like enamored with it. And I discovered a few things. I really like surfing, like not to do, but like to watch. It's fascinating to watch. I didn't know pickleball was like a real thing. Because I thought my gym teacher made it up. And I also realized that the Olympics are pretty boring most of the time. But what if...
That's why people only watch every 4 years.
Exactly. How about this?
Like Dynamite.
Exactly. Would the Olympics be more exciting if professional wrestling were a part of it? Because that is a stupid idea that many people have floated, and it's maybe the dumbest thing I've ever. It's the dumbest things. Look, if that breakdancing could happen in the Olympics, literally anything can happen in the Olympics. But professional wrestling should not be in the Olympics. I'm sorry.
And if
I know we got super chats building up. I'm going to get to them in a little bit. Go ahead, Diz.
If the Olympics can ruin breakdancing, they can ruin anything. And
let's be real. Let's be real. The Australians ruined breakdancing for everyone this year.
People, I wanted to get into this week because we've said it 100 times, and we've always just assumed people understood why it was a bad idea. But I keep seeing people acting like it's a good idea, and it would ruin wrestling. It would ruin professional wrestling because it would become all about, okay, let's figure out what the minimum amount we have to do to get this score is, and then we'll go one score higher. And that's what professional wrestling would be. It would be perfecting a routine over and over again. These guys, it would ruin. And then what would you'd have people going to WWE.
How's that any different from Bret Hart's career?
Oh, I like you even more now because that is
Ric Flair's to be fair.
Nah, hey, no, it's not.
That's son of a bitch, Ed Evans.
He got a bald head like Bill Goldberg.
Right. Just like that son of a bitch, Bill Goldberg.
But we got to do a T-shirt. We got to do a T-shirt with Brett saying "Merry Christmas," unless you're Bill Goldberg. Fuck Bill Goldberg.
I saw a meme the other day, and it was The Simpsons, and it was Lisa running into the room going, "Mom, Dad, Brett's dead," and they're like, "What?" And then it sits up, and it's Bart, but he's got the Bret Hart on The Simpsons head on him, and he goes, dead serious about the fact that Bill Goldberg sucks.
But yeah, it goes into the territory of at some point it's just going to turn into we're going to have a wrestling match and we're going to have 3 judges on the outside of the ring. They're going to hold up scorecards at the end. That's
so good.
And like,
wasn't Bischoff working on something like this? I've got to ask him. He was
There
doing
was
something
something
like
in
this.
TNA.
Matt Rats. No.
Oh
Matt
yeah,
Rats.
Mad Rats. Oh, I forgot about Matt Rats.
Yeah. Am I reading?
So did everyone else.
It was Canadian, right? It was a Canadian thing.
Okay, so I can barely remember. So I hope he doesn't hear this unless if I'm going to make it wrong. But
I'm fairly certain that he doesn't listen to our show.
No, he's a big fan. Yeah, Eddie, he just like doom watches like the death of AEW. He's this whole timeline on YouTube. No, I'm kidding. But he had an idea that we were going to do essentially the Olympics of this Olympic idea where everybody knows it's a work, and you have young talent, doing the matches, and you basically, you judge it like art or like fucking, I don't know, rhythmic gymnastics and stuff. Obviously, you've never heard of it. It didn't take off, but the same idea.
It was built
of course, Teddy Hart was. Of course, Teddy Hart was involved in it.
There.
I totally remember that. That's crazy. That was
who would be the judges? Would it be like Jim Cornette and Dutch Mantel? And like...
Now I'd watch the hell out of it. Yeah, I would watch the hell out of that.
Dutch even said, Dutch
no,
said
yeah, Bischoff,
on
Jim
Twitter,
Cornette,
and Dutch.
Dutch.
Oh my goodness! Or like maybe like get Schultz in there as like the tiebreaker, or as the referee. Like,
Vinny Brew just to annoy Eric.
This was mid 2000s. This was before Eric went to TNA. This was like right after the whole, this was before the Hogan midget thing. Remember that? Because that was
Can you call them midgets?
No, he was.
I'm allowed
to. Hornswoggle gave me a pass.
Hogan and Bischoff were doing a micro wrestling organization. They were pitching it as a reality show years before this recent one. But this was around that time. So the judges would end up being probably, honestly, like Disco Inferno and all those guys that just kind of circled around Bischoff at that time, all the ex-WCW guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That I could not see it as, I could see lightsaber combat being an Olympic sport before professional.
Oh my
wrestling.
God,
like,
no.
The choreographed lightsaber combat.
Yes, why not? We are at the point, guys, where the Olympics is like 8 different events. So like you got your athletics and your real sports, and then you got all this weird shit. I'm just like, the weirder the better. The fucking one-legged fucking dog skateboarding. Bring it in. It's once every 4 years. The weirder the better. Yes.
My favorite was the Australian girl like gyrating on the ground, and somebody put over it on Twitter. They put like, "I gave you the chance of aiding me willingly, but you have elected the way of pain." The Gandalf and Saruman.
Oh, I just like people saying that she was Aubrey Edwards. That was my favorite thing.
The show that she was Aubrey.
Yeah.
I mean, did that lady? She was the best breakdancer in all of Australia. I actually do buy that. Actually,
I've been to Australia. That really is how the girls dance. Yeah.
Lord, but professional wrestling, I can't see it. I can't see it ever being an Olympic sport.
We've got to will this into existence. If you start off like that, you never will. You got to will this into existence, guys.
Somebody in the chat said pro wrestling, no. Power slap in the 2028 Olympics. Yes, I'd watch the hell out of that.
I'd watch that. Yeah,
I'd watch the hell out of that. Just watching like feuding countries, like athletes getting up there to slap each other in the face. Like, oh man, I'm there for that. Oh, all right. So we got a few super chats that we're a little backed up on. So let me get to those real fast. Andre Adams for $1.99 says, major announcement: AEW is partnering with AOL
and Kodak.
I could see it. Ruben Hoff for $2. He's going to announce the Mercedes Monet podcast. John JID 999 for $1.99. NXT going to CW, kicking off in Allstate Arena. That's not bad. I guess for their first show in
the first two shows are on the road. They're doing Chicago for the first one and St. Louis for the second one. The first one has Punk, the second one has Orton. So very cool. Kenneth Douglas for $5. Tony's big announcement is his crush finally spoke to him and he got a hug. Always enjoy the show. Keep up the great work, everyone. His crush is Britt Baker. So
we got confirmation on that, by the way.
Well, I mean, we all know. Did you see real quick what Conan, the bomb Conan dropped the other day? Well, he said that the reason Cody left AEW was because Brandy got into it with Britt Baker and Tony sided with Britt. That would actually line up with Cody's vague like this was a personal issue that I'm not going to discuss. Like somebody messing with his wife, I could totally see that being an issue. Because look, we can all say everything about Cody. You know, Cody didn't like Omega. Cody didn't like the Bucks. They were the separate locker rooms and the separate booking meetings and all that other stuff. But Cody would have kept doing the Cody thing for as long as he was able to do. I don't know. Conan said that, and I kind of believed it.
Yeah, it sounds like a final straw type of thing, but I'm sure Cody was hip to understanding like this isn't the way things need to be going. And probably one day that incident happened, he was just like, "F it, I'm out of here."
See, I always thought this thing because I always heard there was something with Brandy, and I always kind of assumed it was all of her initiatives were kind of being taken away from her. She had the sensory initiative that she was doing that went away. She had heels that was given to someone else. She had, it's like all this stuff that she was involved in. She was in charge of community outreach, and then Mark Henry got hired and kind of got pushed into there. So everything she was involved in slowly got taken away, and that would really line up with the idea that Britt Baker was in Tony's ear saying that she should be doing this stuff.
But was she there when it was taken away? Like the heels, the transition from her to Huber happened after Brandy left, and I just heard
I don't even mean necessarily that it was taken away from her. I mean that they stopped caring about heels. Remember how big heels was when it first started, how much they were pushing it, and then like 2 weeks later they just completely dropped it and never mentioned it again. Which was the same thing they did with the
Is that because the blue hairs started crying?
I don't know.
Because that's what it is now. It's a bunch of blue haired people.
And then the same thing happened with their I remember when AEW started, they were talking about having safe rooms at their live shows for kids on the spectrum. And they were going to have sensory safe entrances and all kinds of stuff. And that went away.
You are breaking Kevin Apollo right now.
I saw that. I was saying the same thing. Like,
I'd say before that, I actually, because right when they started running, I had a long conversation with somebody about that because at my very first show, there was a kid who really suffered from sensory issues. And I was like, wow. And I just remembered like when my, one of the very last matches I had, I think my daughter was probably only like 2 or something. And, the sound of the ring like scared the crap out of her. So she, didn't stay. And I actually really thought that was one of the few things that they were doing that I thought was actually a phenomenal idea. Yeah. Because, there's so many kids have sensory issues now. But everything else was just sheer rubbish that hurts the inside of my soul.
Yeah. Max, when we took him to a monster truck thing, freaked out. He couldn't stay 5 minutes. We bought him headphones and everything to put him on. He still couldn't do it. It's just too much. When I took him to the WWE show, he was far more calm. They didn't, because it was like, it's almost like he was ready for it. Does that make sense? Like there were booms and stuff, but WWE does a good job of preparing you and kind of moving into it where it's not a sudden rush. And that's one thing that really excited me about AEW at first. And they just never panned out. They never went through with it, So, so I think that stuff, because that sounds like something that Brandy was passionate about. And it just completely went away. So that's what I think. I think it's more about that than her on-screen character. I think they would have let her stay on screen doing whatever she wanted as long as Cody was on there getting them ratings, But I think it's more about the backstage stuff that Cody got upset about.
Probably. But again, is this dentist worth it? She has now cost you, she cost you your biggest star, who is now the biggest star in the world. Like, that should have been it right there. But Tony has got this weird obsession with her. I guess she was the first woman that he hired. And she'll be the last one there when the lights go out. It is.
What about with Sasha Banks now? Sorry, Mercedes Moné. If them two start, I mean, what's Tony gonna do there?
I have no idea. That's gonna be. He's playing with fire, putting them together right now. Because
if I'm Mercedes Moné, number one, I'd hire an acting coach. Number two, what I'd do is I would pick a fight with Britt Baker so I could get my ass sent home and collect those checks.
Do you think
If I really think he's going to pick one or the other, I do that. Like, you know what, this ain't working. I'll get myself sent home for 6 months. They still have to pay me.
Yeah,
how much is CM Punk's? Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
I agree with that. I bet Mercedes would be punked because you got to remember. Listen, even though we kind of laugh at it, but in reality, Britt is as much of a pillar for AEW as all the other pillars that he abandoned. So
yeah,
she kind of holds. This time last year, she was probably 82% of any female promo cut until she disappeared. So you know where the value lies. That's honestly, to me, it's why it's kind of baffling that when she was suspended, you did in the middle of one of your only few hot things happening on the show. I don't know why you leave money on the table, but the fact that she was suspended, I thought was it kind of caught me by surprise because she does hold that place of reverence. But it's at the end of the day, like we thought, you're spending allegedly $5 million on Mercedes, and the only thing she's giving you is a terrible promo after terrible promo, and every time she opens her mouth, her stock diminishes. Her stock falls faster than Disney every time Igor opens up his mouth. So I don't know what you do with Mercedes, and she's already told you that this is just a pit stop before she goes back to the WWE. So is this really worth the investment? I would back the dentist, in all honesty, if there was going to be an issue, because at least you know where the loyalty is.
But I mean, look, he already served up. He already threw one pillar on the sacrificial pile for Mercedes by taking Sammy out, and now Sammy's slumming it in ROH, where he shall remain as long as she's there.
Incredible.
Oh, what do they do then? I mean, I'd love to talk. Actually, one thing I've suggested that Eric Bischoff talks about is like because now he's had like the lunatics run the asylum as well. Like when you've got this level of toxicity where no one will get. I mean, one thing you shouldn't do is this idea of suspending people. You're a TV show. You're not a sport. You don't suspend. If Jennifer Aniston was told Courtney Cox to fuck off, you don't suspend Jennifer Aniston from an episode of Friends. It doesn't make any sense. You're playing characters. You've got to punish it with either a fine, if your contract allows it. If not, your next contract should allow you to fine them. Or two, you give them community service. Say, hey, guess what? You're going to go to the Boys and Girls Club before every show for next month. There you go. The car will pick you up in the lobby at 6. That's how you punish them. You don't. I mean, you're right. The hottest thing they had, one of the hottest things they had on TV was those two. I think that's one of the hottest matches they've got. And finally, I mean, look, I don't think she's delivering because she doesn't do promos very well. But Mercedes is a natural bitchy heel. She knows exactly what she's doing when she plays that character. I know they hired somebody allegedly on high 6 figures, to write script for her while you're over scripting her. She's got to say just a few little bitchy things like it's beneath her to talk.
That's she should have a publicist or a hype person. I've been saying
exactly, a publicist. And she lean over and say, tell these fans to shut up or I'm not going to talk at all. And that's all they say. And they keep going, you walk. Do that gimmick. Like, for Christ's sake, you spend all this money on her, help her. Don't you know? And if she's the problem, saying I want to do this, say no, you can't. I'm helping you here.
But they can't say that. She's confirmed that she has creative control on her contract. Well, they can't tell her no and try to help her. Go ahead,
but the biggest part of it is Tony doesn't have the balls to do it. I could very easily see Bischoff getting in someone's face.
Oh, I can very easily see Bischoff.
You got creative control, but you're killing TV right now. So this is how this is going to work. We're going to help you get better. Tony,
there's nice ways to do it. Like we've all dealt with people that work like this. There's nice ways. It's like, hey, this isn't quite working. We want to tweak this. Let me help you. How would you? And like anyone, when you're dealing with an egotist, and the best example I've ever seen was Angelo Dundee, who used to train Muhammad Ali. After Ali would spar, he'd go, "Champ, that was amazing. The way you did that thing, how did you come up with that?" And it'd be what Angelo wanted him to do all along. But because Ali then thought it was his idea, then he would do it more and more. There are ways of dealing with, because look, anyone who goes on TV as a pro wrestler, they all kind of exist on this apex between thinking they're the best thing that God ever put on green earth and thinking they're an absolute fraud. They're always at this apex, all of them. Even the most confident UFC fighter or wrestler I've ever dealt with is still got right on the brink between the two. And that's where they get creativity and they get their drive from. She knows she's not doing well right now. I think it's the messy. It's the messenger. I think she must do.
I don't know, man. She seems like she's
got $6 million out of Tooney Khan, which no one else has got. So she's a smart lady, and
everything that I've heard about her is just she does not take criticism. Like, and I know people that have worked with her or worked in her orbit.
Yeah,
does not take criticism well. Thinks she knows everything. Was reportedly, a pleasure to work with in NXT, and then once she got to the main roster, really kind of bought into that whole 4 horsewomen thing and thought she was Ric Flair, and just does not take criticism at all.
Boy, you don't criticize her. Perfect. So don't criticize. Do what Angelo Dundee. Don't criticize her.
But do you think Tooney Khan is tactful enough to
No,
spin
I don't think he's intelligent enough either. You need intelligence, and you need a little bit. Look, Tony's very honest. I think. I don't think he's honest with himself, but I don't think he's got that level of duplicity, because you've got to basically lead her on a little bit and say, okay, hey, that thing you did when you just stood there and said nothing and pouted until they shut, that was great. That was fantastic. You come up with that. You've got to meet them where they're at. And if they're egotists, they don't take criticism. Don't criticism. Stop. It takes longer. It'd be better if you could just have a conversation and say, hey, this isn't working. Let's do that. Direct is faster. But if it won't work because the girl doesn't take criticism, stop. It's a longer path, but just praise her for when she does something good. So she does that more and the bad stuff less.
Yeah, Tony should know this from his dad.
Yes, this isn't like, I'm not divulging some amazing like psychology here. That's how you deal with egotists. And look, anyone who's on TV for a living is an egotist to varying degrees.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. And good Lord, I don't know what to do with it, because apparently she even wears an earpiece during her promos that they feed her lines for, and I got this confirmed by somebody that knows, and you could you could see her hold to listen to the earpiece sometimes when it's there.
Oh my God!
What kills it is, like, I know people are kind of like shell shocked because they look at Sasha versus Mercedes, but the WWE had a full understanding of what her weaknesses were, and they knew how to produce her, and AEW doesn't have the savvy to handle it. And fine, they brought in what's her name, Jen Peppermill, to write for her. But if Mercedes thinks she can handle 8 pages of soliloquies, you're going to be hard pressed to stop her if you don't have the people skills or the stones. You got to figure, the delusion is a wonderful thing, right? But in there's always just a little kernel of reality that you can see. She loves her money, she loves her fame, but I guarantee you too, when no one's looking, she's probably scrolling through her Twitter, and she's seeing every week that she's getting crapped on, and you got to figure she's going, why isn't this working for me? And at some point in time, you got to figure it out, or you no matter what happens, you got to change gears. If it's not working, it's not working. So I honestly really think it just comes down to they don't have an actual leader over there in that company. From Britt's bad behavior to Mercedes, whatever she wants to do, to the fact
MJF's bad behavior.
To the fact that I laugh, right? The Shane McMahon photo should have been the biggest story in wrestling. And what happens? The high school drama nonsense took precedent and sucked all that oxygen out of the room.
Right.
And this
That's the
happens
AEW way.
What's it? And this happens to AEW. They get a sliver of good news, and then someone does something stupid, and it sucks the oxygen out.
It's that time of year, though. To be fair, it's summertime. The boys get crazy in the back in AEW. Apparently, when a pay-per-view starts with the word "all," they can't handle themselves anymore. I don't understand. I will give
bro.
I will give AEW credit. They did have enough sense to turn Mercedes heel, at least, right? Like they saw that, and they went that route. So maybe she's open to some criticism or willing to try something different if she thinks it's not working, because clearly her as a face wasn't working, and they did change the direction. It's just the new direction isn't any better.
Well, she debuted.
It's the execution. It's sort of on paper, I think it works. Like, because when she first came in, everyone was happy to see her. The AEW fans are happy to see her. So they're going to cheer for a month or two. So I think they were right not to bring her in as a heel at first. As bad as she is, not as bad, but you know what I mean? She's not a natural babyface. So on paper, you just right, okay, they brought her in, they got, because everybody was going to cheer anyway. Well, enough people were going to cheer anyway, and then they turn her heel. That sounds like smart, but it's just the execution is consistently so bad.
Yeah. Well, also, what killed her too is they let her go on that whatever radio station it was, and they let her say, "I'll be back in the WWE eventually." And the AEW diehards.
Oh God.
That's come on. That's
her
that's
tune
not
changed.
Go over well.
Her tune changed after that. Then she started attacking the WWE to get back on the good side. But it is like when she showed up, I was like, "There's nothing that could put me off of this woman more." Like, because I thought that I had already had such a distaste for her, and then she started doing that cringy little dance that she does. And I was like, oh, no, it gets so much worse. And then she started talking in interviews, and I started hearing about crystals. And I was like, wow, okay, no, she's just Shirley the Loon from Tiny Toon Adventures. Like, it's I a deep cut, right? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no, she is just...
Who goes over? Who's winning? Britt Baker or... you know what? Who's winning the match? Mercedes is winning. Who wins the backstage feud? Who would you bet your money on?
Britt wins the backstage feud. Tony has some weird fascination with her. I think she's the first ever. I think when he signed her, she touched his arm, and was the first female contact he'd ever had in his life. And
the first pretty girl to ever say yes to him.
Yes, and I think that
that's big. I remember the first pretty girl to say yes to me. And
I also think that Mercedes has no problem going home and collecting money. Whereas Britt would never do that.
Oh, yeah.
So, if it got to the point where it was one of the other Britt, or I think Mercedes would go, okay, fine, I'll go home. Bye. And then leave.
Britt still works most of the week as a dentist.
Yeah, I know. And she's their on-site health, medical team, right? And she's the one who clears wrestlers when they go. No.
No, that's a joke. But I could see it. You could see it, right? She's back there, one of these old veterans that have been sniffing around the locker room is like, hey, you got a prescription pad there, huh? Somebody's asked her. Oh my god! If Balls Mahoney were there, he'd have been sniffing around. God bless him. I love that. I loved him. He was amazing.
Pac is just every time Pac sees her, he just screams at her to give him the pad.
Drugs. Andre Adams said for $4.99, thank you so much. This is an ROH fan. Apollo is 1,000% correct on everything he has said. So yeah, everything you said about ROH being, worthless and tree falls in the woods. So Andre Adams agrees with you, and he's an ROH fan, which just shows you how bad ROH has fallen. John JID 999 for $1.99 says
it used to be owned by a kitty fiddler. I mean, it doesn't fall on that phone.
John JID 999 for $1.99 says the Lucha Brothers probably staying in AEW, get the money. Is that a thing? Are they staying in AEW? I hope they are, because I really don't want to see them in WWE.
They make $1 trillion on their merchandise alone.
I know. There are three rumored talents that are moving, that are supposedly interested in WWE. One of them I don't believe for a second. Ricky Starks, which is the one we can all agree because he's got his face pressed up against the glass. But like QT Marshall learned, Cody Rhodes' friend is not valid experience on a resume. So hopefully he can show them something. Then there's the Lucha Brothers, who I believe would want to go. I just can't. And I think WWE would want them because they're basically cartoon characters. But the other one is Daniel Garcia, and I cannot imagine that one on either end.
No.
I think they're playing the MJF game with this one again.
Maybe. Listen, how old is Daniel Garcia? He's only 25, right?
I don't care enough to look. I don't even care enough to Google it.
He's only 25. He's a good-looking kid. He's a solid athlete. This is the problem with the problem with AEW is that if you are a wrestler, when you go to AEW, that is where your equity as a wrestler goes to die. You're not going to grow it. If you have it, you're going to lose it. Garcia is actually one of the few people who actually benefited from his time with Jericho. Jericho moved him up the card, and he has stayed there. He's been stuck because, like everybody else, you do something for 2 weeks, and then he's gone for 8, and then he's back for a week, and then he's gone for 10. So that it's I could see the WWE gobbling him up. One, just for the sake of saying, hey, we took someone. Look at Ethan Page. We took someone that you couldn't make a star out of, and we instantly made them a star. Just to kind of send the message out there, because why not? Sometimes you have to make it clear, hey, if you actually want to be a star, this is where you should be trying to go. Right. At this point, you're only going to AEW to get the big check. Other than that, what are you getting out of it? You're legitimately wasting your time. Look at Okada. Listen, I get it. He probably figured he can go get a crap ton of money, actually have a Brinks truck backup, and by the time he gets out, he's still young enough to make a push for the WWE. Everybody else, though, if you're a young kid and you're trapped in AEW and you've gotten everything you can get out of it, I'm gonna go run down to NXT and I'm gonna go be a star within 3 weeks of me being there.
Yeah, and also I could see
WWE. Hold on, is WWE interested in every person that comes out of AEW? I don't think it is. AEW is obviously interested in every person that comes out of WWE, but I don't think Triple H, is going to instantly look at you just because you were on AEW.
I don't think that's it. It's really more the experience, because you got to remember too, a lot of the NXT kids, you find they do house shows on the weekend, but they don't have reps. This is why the TNA deal is such a big deal for them. These kids can pop up on Impact. These kids can probably eventually pop up on AAA, New Japan, and they can get reps in. But if you have people who, even though it's a crappy TV show, someone like Garcia was on weekly TV and understands the basic principles of it, having him around helps the kids. So it's not really just a matter of, you were in AEW, I'll take you because I can. There's a little more psychology behind it. And again, you got a young athlete, good-looking kid. He's clearly marketable. It's not like you're just signing the sign. Like, WWE could very easily do something with him other than have him smash you in the face with his junk every week.
Yeah, and I think we're also underestimating guys like Cody and CM Punk, who Triple H does value their opinions. Daniel Garcia wasn't a guy who was causing problems backstage. He seemed very respectful. Whenever you heard stories about him, it seemed like all those guys liked him. Punk liked him. It seemed like Cody liked him. So I can imagine Triple H going to them and saying, "Hey, what do you think about this guy?" And they're being like, "Yeah, he's good. Give him a shot." And that could be enough for Triple H.
I don't see that.
I don't know. The AEW fans see him as, they said him and Wheeler Yuta were the new Austin and Rock. Like, he's going to go to WWE and he's not going to have that anymore. So it's a matter of, do you want to be a star or are you a mark? Like, that's.
Let's see it. He seems like, again, I don't know, but I said, considering that he actually listened. Because that even though it was the crux of the storyline, but he clearly listened. He took advice and he changed his character. Now he sort of has a character. That makes him infinitely more desirable than most of that roster, because that roster has a listening problem. They don't listen to it. They want people who are coachable. So if you have one of the few who's coachable and you can make money off of them, you gobble them up, and after that, it's sink or swim, right? Like just because you get signed doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be there for life. You still have to you still have to carry your weight. But again, I just go look at Ethan Page as a very clear indicator on what you can do with someone who's willing to put the work in. They dropped the ball with Ethan Page. They have dropped the ball with Ricky Starks. They've dropped the ball with a kid like Garcia. I would even say they dropped the ball with Sammy. And I think Sammy was one of the ones who signed a super long contract last year. So
and now here's the thing: is the fact that when these guys are now trying to go, Buddy tried to go, and if Garcia tries to go, Lucha Brothers, he's gonna throw so much money at them, money that WWE will never give to a guy like Daniel Garcia or the Lucha Brothers, never, ever, 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 and they're probably gonna take the bag. I mean, like if what John said is true, and the Lucha Brothers are not going to WWE, it's because Tony backed up a dump truck full of money to and if the reports are true and that Tony is like basing these contracts off of what he thinks he's going to get for a new deal, a new TV deal, that is the single stupidest. He's spending money that the company doesn't have. I mean, he has more money than God, but you're not going to be the reason he keeps winning these battles for free agents is he's offering these guys more money than they will ever see in their lives.
Yeah.
And WWE is offering them WrestleMania, like the potential for WrestleMania or to be in the Battle Royal.
Well, even how many free agents did they really lose though? Mercedes wanted Becky Lynch money, and she's not Becky Lynch, so she wasn't going to get it. Right? She has that obsession with being Becky superior because she can't accept that Becky surpassed her, and then they lost out on Ospreay.
And Okada and Buddy and
but Buddy was already there, and Buddy had an axe to grind with them. So I know someone who knows Buddy, and Buddy, for a long time said I would never go back, and then kind of softened very recently, and then got a big chunk of money to stay. Again, they're not really like, other than really Okada was the shocking one for me, but again, I get it. He's playing the long game. I'm cashing out early, and I should still be young enough to go become a star. Everybody else, I don't know. It's you listen. You go get paid because the game can be over at any moment. But again, there's I wouldn't. Listen, if I'm the Lucha Bros, I know that the WWE wants to go to Mexico. The WWE wants to go to Mexico. They want. Right. They want.
Okay, I'm so beyond done with this topic. Yes, they're going to take the money. WWE wants them. I get it.
Listen, I say if the Lucha Bros go, it's going to be like the scene in Scarface when Tony and Sosa are laughing as the money is being printed. That's just that's the Lucha Bros. Whether whether we like them or not, it's a shit ton of money for them.
Well, yeah, and WWE clearly wants more luchadors. It's very obvious when you look at the roster they've got now. Kenneth Douglas for $10 saying in the last episode, Mercedes said that Britt wasn't at the arena twice. I was dumbfounded. What happened to swerving the crowd like Sean did to Canada by playing Brett's music to fool them? That was amazing. Okay. That was one of the greatest heel promos of all time. If you guys ever want to watch a flawless heel promo, Shawn Michaels leading into that SummerSlam against Hogan in Montreal. Holy hell, was that the most again? when he came out and he just went, "Who's your daddy, Montreal?" Like, it was masterful. And the boos, and when he hit them twice with Brett's music, good Lord, was that amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, AEW has the nuance of a brick. Jennifer Pepperman, she is a daytime Emmy Award winning writer, which apparently I heard a story that she brought her daytime Emmy into a WWE production meeting one time, I guess to somebody wanted to see it or something, and Kevin Dunn was so incensed by it because he's a miserable like nub of a human being
that he just he was so angry that she brought her Emmy in because he was just incredibly jealous. But Kareem Hopper for $50. My goodness.
Wow.
Thank you
Shout
so
out
much,
Kareem.
man. Thank you, Kareem. Holy hell. And Kareem, brand new subscriber, subscribe today. I saw him over on Tooney TV. I quoted Jim Cornette in my Zack Snyder in my Zack Snyder rant from Tooneytown TV, and I said, it was like I'm tired of saying that. I'm tired of saying I told you so because I got to do it so often, but I told you so. And he was like, Cult of Cornette. And I was like, hey, man, we got a wrestling channel. And here he is over here, man. He's awesome. A 78 Bronx kid here and now a fan. Have to bail, but wanted to send love after just discovering you guys this week. Wish I knew of you sooner. You're all amazing. Kevin, brother, them trapezius. Damn. Share your regimen, bruv. Long live the Cult of Cornette. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kareem. That deserves some kind of video clip. I gotta maybe a
I have never heard so many lies in my entire life other than when I was saying them.
My favorite quote. I love it so much. But yes, thank you so much, man. That's very, very generous. Moving along, we got Samurai Sam for $5. The rumor is that Tony is adding injury time to Phoenix's contract. Not sure that'll be a good PR move and long-term move with the Lucha Bros. At the end of the day, when Tony does that, when he adds injury time to contracts, I never blame him for that.
No.
Is it hypocritical? Yes, because good guy Tony is the guy that was supposed to never be the one to do that, right?
Right.
But I think that's a solid business. That's a business move. That's a business move.
Yeah, if it's in the contract, then it's in the contract. They signed it. It's a contract.
If and he doesn't someone for a year and they're sitting out 6 months. Yeah, no, you should be adding that time on to the end of the contract.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to pick and choose. He did it to Kenny. It's not like he's just doing it to the guys who he think might leave. Like he's doing it to everybody. So
yeah. If especially got to do it, you especially have to do it to Kenny.
Yeah.
Because I think Kenny Omega at this point, even before the diverticulitis, has spent more time off TV, injured, than on TV.
He spends more time in bandages than Mumra, Kenny Omega.
Exactly. Every once in a while, he does the ancient spirits of evil. Try to do it in the Kenny Omega voice. I have never Kenny Omega. Have you ever seen a guy more jacked look like so much of a pussy in your entire life?
Listen, anybody can get gear. Doesn't mean you're tough.
He is
right.
But he's so jacked up, and I'm like, anyone can kick your ass. I don't know,
man. I saw Kenny Omega in the mid 2000s at an indie show, and he did that stupid, like he was doing a slow motion bit where one of the wrestlers stopped and like put his hand out, and they acted like they did they had to be in slow motion for like a minute, and it went on way too long. And that minute, that second, I knew I'm just never going to be a Kenny Omega fan. And that was like when he was like early 20s, and I just but then I thought, when I heard he was coming to AEW, because I kind of dropped out of like Japan and that kind of stuff, so when I heard he's coming to AEW, I'm like, well, he's supposed to be this huge deal now. He's supposed to be this, maybe he's changed. And then I went up, looked stuff, and he's fighting blow up dolls and doing Street Fighter moves. He's the same thing he was back then.
And fighting 9-year-old kids in Japan.
Yeah, it's all he hasn't evolved at all. No. He can do funny like more fun moves, and that's about it. So
no, but now he talks like he's this like grizzled veteran, and I just can't stand him.
Definitely grizzled.
Yeah, Jamie Earhart for $5 Canadian says, just got here, liked and wanted you to know I love your show. I think the chemistry between all is amazing, and there is so much knowledge between all. Thank you so much, Jamie. This is the best panel in wrestling. I honestly believe it, and it's I love it.
If you just want to see how knowledgeable you are, tune into one of the episodes that we do Awful Jeopardy, and you can really see how smart.
Yeah.
Now, I missed Awful Jeopardy, and, I'm an egotist, so I didn't actually watch the episode after I did my Super Chats that night. No, I'm kidding. I fell asleep because Mrs. Movie Monster was like, we have to be up at 5 a.m. to get back on the road. Go to sleep and let them run your show. I have not gotten to participate in Awful Jeopardy yet, but I really want to at some point.
Gentlemen, he also said, Marv said to me personally, like he would have wiped you guys up.
Oh, I saw it. He said in the group chat.
I said that.
Yeah.
I said that publicly. No,
Okay.
Kevin will attest. I am ungodly levels of competitive when it comes to any kind of like game. So I do not like to lose.
I do
when you
have
get
the
in
ace
it-
in my pocket though, that if I unleashed him on the Jeopardy, he would be astounded as to the
Wait.
whipping that you caught.
Are you talking about Ji?
Yes, I am.
Yes. No, it would be that is like that is when Superman arrives on the battlefield and all the villains run. Like
I
that's-
legit watched him with the old WF trivia game. Someone challenged him and he did the entire stack. Just boom, 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 boom. He legit ran train on this person. And
I think,
I-
Marv, I'll
Doesn't matter.
suggest this. When you do it, when it is your turn, you should probably maybe take a few minutes, let me host the show at that point and you play, because it is very difficult to play and host at the same time.
I can imagine, yeah.
Like, because Neckbeards like took a little, he had to break for a minute, so I had to watch the chat, and I'm trying not to cheat, so I'm looking, and like every once in a while I'd see a question that I was already going to answer, and I'd have to be like, oh no, I didn't know that one, and I answer. Like, I felt so dumb at the USWA question. I was just punching myself, but I saw it in the chat, and I didn't want to say it, so I just said nothing, and it gets hard. So
like I'm talking a lot of trash, but in reality, I would probably get destroyed in Awful Jeopardy. So
Kev just left. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Duke was
won.
crying. I got it.
No, but you won because you left. You weren't there to get the questions wrong.
George Costanza going out on a high note.
Bill Murray at the end of Space Jam.
Yep. Oh my god, what a great reference that is. Wow. So apparently the chat, by the way, not agreeing with you all. I love you all, but that was a bit painful. Awful Jeopardy was pretty awful. Like,
Hey, that's not fair.
Hold on.
some people say do it
itself?
again.
Yeah, the game itself, or the answers that they couldn't answer, the questions that they couldn't answer.
I don't
Were
know.
we bad at it, or was the concept bad? I feel
see,
terrible. I think I'm going to leave, guys.
No. The concept is solid.
Yeah, Lisa said.
Lisa says they couldn't answer any of the questions. It was kind of like, you made it too hard. In other words, the answer is not the game. The what?
There was one of the Gaijin questions. I'm like, hold on a second. I didn't understand the question because I thought we were supposed to answer your question about a Gaijin. You actually asked the question about a Japanese guy.
I did. Yes, I did.
You're messing me up.
I messed up. But then you said you read a question from the bottom up.
I did. It was the sinus infection and not sleeping with this child. I was like, I know this is Dr. Death. Oh shoot.
Oh yeah, Neckbeards
no.
needs to get in because he said he'd wipe up too. So I definitely have to make the questions.
Neckbeards, I think would actually be Neckbeard is such a deep knowledge. Like you can pull up like any like old obscure announcer and he's like, oh, that's so and so. He was in blah, 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 blah. Like he knows everything. It's insane. All right, so looking at what other topics we have before we get to Dr. D. Let me see here. Oh, how about the fact that you're Tony, let's say you're Tooney Khan, right? I'm so sorry to have to break it to you that you're Tooney Khan. And you have your EVPs and you put them in your biggest feud of the year going into your biggest show of the year, but they're not on your weekly show because they work limited dates. That's what the Young Bucks are doing.
Where are they? I mean, they're not at the gym. What are they doing?
Oh yeah, they're probably playing video games with Kenny Omega. Like it's
shoe
God.
shopping online.
Well, at least Kenny goes to the gym.
It's a really. I mean, I guess I get it. I get why you give them, their EVPs. They get benefits, whatever. But to do it this close to your biggest pay-per-view of the year, I mean, if they're supposed to be,
do they consider this the biggest pay-per-view of the year? Do you think? Yeah. Like, is this their WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Because they have another pay-per-view like a week later, don't they?
All out. Yeah, that's 2 weeks later. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
like Backlash doesn't happen immediately after WrestleMania. It's weird to me. I don't like it.
Yeah. I just wish I could have been in the room when they came up with this. And, we do all in, let's do all out. I wish I could have been there. That's the fucking stupidest branding I've ever heard.
It's one thing though if you do all out like the next month, but to do it 2 weeks later. And last year wasn't it like the next
year
week?
was a week apart.
A week apart. Yeah.
See, I think the original idea was,
and wasn't it in Chicago?
Yeah. I think the original
with
idea
no
was
Punk.
The man.
all of them are in Chicago. All of the all-ins are in Chicago, or all-outs. I mean,
All-outs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he runs the same building every year for these shows and kills the town.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that it was their shot at, instead of doing 2 nights in a row, we'll do 2 weekends in a row. It's like WrestleMania where they have 2 nights, but we spread it out over a week. It's bigger than WrestleMania because it goes a whole week. I think, and it goes from 2 different places. Like, I think that was the original idea, but then he had nothing left over for All Out when he was done with All In. And so now All Out is just the All In leftover show. Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be Swerve versus Hangman, which is the match that would make sense on this pay-per-view, but because they
these
want
two have like lit each other on fire, they've drank each other's blood. What is there left for the two of them to do?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying
Like,
it makes
why-
sense because of
they
how they've been
should not
building this pay-per-view.
They should not be anywhere near each other for
A
at
rub
least
and
2
tug
years.
match.
Oh my goodness! And knowing them, it'll just be knowing AEW. It'll just be like a straight up regular match.
So I do have
trying
a bit of breaking news for AEW.
Okay, what you got?
They have a new TV show or new show. Actually,
Oh,
they
God.
just announced
What?
it. It's going to be debuting, I believe, next Monday. It is AEW Stories, and it is a documentary series based on the biggest events in AEW history, where they show us backstage bits and
No,
pieces.
you're making
No.
this up.
You know where it's going to be.
It's a 5-year-old company.
You know where it's going to be. You know what channel it's on?
YouTube.
Please.
Their YouTube channel.
Yeah, of
So-
course it is.
Yeah.
So
That
so-
video's coming out.
Yeah, I know. So that's what, so with how much they're pushing a new deal and they're talking about, this seems like something that would have been part of a new deal. And here it is going on YouTube.
Monday nights. It's going on Monday nights, like opposite Raw.
I think it's just going live on Mondays. Like it's like
The
Speed. They
new
start, you know.
Monday night Raw. The new Monday Night Wars. AEW Stories versus Monday Night Raw. I'm trying to find the.
I mean, that could be if that was legit. That them sorting out Britt Baker and MJF if they captured that, but it's not going to be that.
Oh, you think this is what? Do you think this is the footage they shot for season 2 of All Access that never got aired? Maybe this is
Most
how they
likely.
get it.
Well, that's what it sounded like to me, and it's like, all right, it's talking about
Do
the
you think-
storylines. I was like, okay.
Do you think this is one of the major?
Wouldn't that be interesting?
announcements?
The fucking chaos back there, where everybody not talking, and I'd watch the hell out of that show.
It'll never be that though. It'll never be.
I
that.
know
It's
it
always
won't.
it's always got to be everything's great. It's that's what it's always got to be. I'm looking for the clip of the attendance for Double or Nothing. I think it's Double or Nothing, the one next month, where at Arthur Ashe Stadium, it was like 21,000 people the first year they did it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
to this point, they have sold maybe like, what was it? Like
Less than
3,000.
4,000.
3,000 tickets or something like that.
Did
Like,
you see
it's
that their last-
absolutely insane.
Their last Arlington show is the lowest selling Arlington show. Like
Yeah,
they've been on a
no
downhill
crap.
pattern. Yeah.
Who could have called that one?
Hey, Dis, where did that information come from as far as this television show? Who
I
put
saw
that out
I
there?
saw when I was going when I was looking through Twitter, there were several places reporting it. Like it had pictures and everything. Like it seems like somebody put it out. I don't know who put it out because I had to come back to the show, but yeah, it's coming up soon actually. And it seems like I said, it seems like it's already in the can, ready to go. Like this is something they've been sitting on for a while. So
Mhm.
I know that I have this image saved somewhere, and now I can't find it because it's like every year it was a little bit less until here we are. Running these same buildings every single year is the single dumbest thing I've ever seen a wrestling promoter do.
If they were good, Marv, it wouldn't be an issue.
But like WWE
It would
does
be
good
brilliant.
shows too, and they don't run the same building for the same event multiple years in a row. They haven't done it. The only time I remember them ever doing it was when they did Trump Plaza for WrestleManias 4 and 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Aren't they kind of doing the same thing with Indianapolis?
I don't know.
They're
MJG
doing
Says-
3 pay-per-views over the next 3 years. I
Yeah,
mean,
MJG
Yeah.
for but is it the same pay-per-view? Is it like
No,
Backlash
it's
there
three-
every
it-
year? No.
They get 3 of the big 4.
Exactly.
But listen, AEW's cold right now, man. It's not cool. We can openly discuss how everybody's seen the clip of the girl who said, "What is it? Oh God," she's like, "Nothing gives me the icks more than someone who likes wrestling." But when you see the whole clip, the second half of the clip is, "No, not WWE, AEW. It's weird wrestling. It's weird people doing weird things." Is the entire clip of that video. So like, the jig is up. You made a nerd organization.
Yep.
Everybody knows that if you watch this, you're an effing nerd. The and not in the cool way. It's just no.
America has
Well,
spoken.
Tony's telling you. He says, "I make wrestling for the sickos." It's like we know, but thanks for,
Yeah, because
for confirming
he is
it.
one.
Yeah.
MJG for $10 says the EVP is not putting in full schedules and then some to secure every deal possible for the company is a huge red flag of Tony's ability to run a business. If the titles are just for perception, that's worse. And then he followed it up for $2. Thank you so much, MJG. Says Grand Slam, they didn't even put 5K tickets on. So yeah, okay, it wasn't Double or Nothing. It was Grand Slam.
Yeah, I have the tweet in the chat if you want to look at it.
Oh, thank you, Des.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
appreciate that. All right, so we've got year by year. 2021, 19,000 plus tickets distributed. 2022, 13,000 plus tickets distributed. 2023, 11,000 plus tickets distributed. 4,500 tickets distributed first count. 2024, 4,800 tickets set up. 3,500 tickets distributed first count. So yeah, not.
And they
doing
want to
so
run
great.
another stadium show in the United States.
Well, yeah, they want to run a stadium in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's got it. Some people say that's the announcement this week, that it's going
I
to
think
be the Texas Stadium show. I think they're right about that.
It could be one of
Sean
them. He
Ross
said he
Sapp
has
is hoping.
multiple. So
Yeah, he's hoping so that he can rub it in everybody's face,
Exactly.
including yours.
Oh, he
Awful.
can't wait. But guess what's going to not happen?
I don't know, man. It might happen.
Yeah, it
You
ain't
never
happening,
know.
my friend.
Kevin Apollo, what did you just say? Oh my goodness!
It's something I mentioned last week, and I just found it in my phone.
It's the Married with Children thing. Yeah, I'll watch it later. Good Lord. All right, so you guys ready to take a trip to Dr. D, Dave Schultz?
Hell yeah.
yeah,
So
We
we
got a few-
are. Oh, hold on 1 second. We've got MJG for $1.99 says that's my tweet. There you go. Thank you very much. We enjoyed.
look up Ref. I didn't realize that was him. One of my favorite
Awesome.
Twitter accounts, actually. So
Yeah, man. We all enjoy you. Yeah, I follow you too. So hold on.
Let's
I want
see
to
if I
actually
follow him.
I want to actually show the tweet since it's
Yeah, please.
yeah. Get him some I hope it is him and it's not somebody that just like copied his tweet.
hey, I'll still
yeah,
give look
this is
up
it.
Ref.
Yeah.
Rub here.
AW Grand Slam year by year. That's the information that we've got here, folks.
Oh yeah, he's an awesome Twitter account.
Mhm.
Yeah. He says so.
Follow
maybe
him, people.
Says maybe a pro wrestling historian can make historical comps to other promotions and events, but this is historical demand destruction in one of the most important markets there is. It's so bad I can't even laugh. I'm embarrassed for them. I thought the TV was getting better, and I know tons of AEW defenders have been saying that this is their best stretch yet. Who is watching or even engaged in this product anymore? When you pair this with the tickets sold since the start of 2024 for All In, there will not be an All In 2026, not at Wembley. Bookmark this. I'm going to bookmark it right now because I don't lose it again. All right. So, and then Jamie Earhart for $5 Canadian says it's Tony's personal zoo of trained humans. It is. It
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, on a certain level, it probably is. That's kind of sad if you ask me, but I believe it to be true.
That's actually like a line in the upcoming song parody, the Pokemon one, where it's like my own wrestler zoo, Tooney Khan. Like, so he's reading my mind here, Jamie.
He's the kid from the toy.
Yeah, you're absolutely
amazing.
right.
43 years old, thinking that way. It's astounding to me. I tell you.
Ryan David says for $2 says Walt gonna watch Lost instead of AEW. Oh my goodness! All right, so let's get on to
That started off good and got shit too.
As we know,
Yeah.
we're running low
Yep.
on Dr. D, Dave Schultz promos. Yeah, we've kind of like hit the bottom of the barrel. So before we switch over to the occasional excerpt of his book, or the New Jack, and plus the New Jack promos of the week from Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we are taking a look at his appearance on the Morton Downey Jr. show. And now this started last week, and we saw him confronting a man who was supposedly a professional wrestler who was, shall we say, so he exposed the business, asked him about blading right in front of Morton Downey Jr., or Morton Downey, and I keep saying Morton Downey Jr. Is he a junior, or am I thinking Robert Downey Jr.?
He's a junior.
Morton Downey. Okay. And then Dennis Carluzzo, the former president of the NWA, popped up. So that's where we left off. They were just hold on. Travis Heckle popping in for $10. A good friend from the Jim Cornette experience in Cornette's drive-thru. The thumbnail on us over there. He says, as a Kentuckian, I don't claim Sean Ross. The last name fits. Sap. Also, props to my Special Olympics team, the Pitt Bearcats, for winning the Kentucky Regionals in softball. Now it's on to state. Good for you guys. Good for the Bearcats. The Pitt Bearcats. Right. Like Bearcat Lee. Thank you, Travis. Glad you're listening. All right, so let's get over.
Shout out Travis Heckle.
Dave, yeah, big shout out. We love him. Big time friend of the show. All right, so here we are. We're 5 minutes, 43 seconds into this, and away we go. Hold on, let me turn the volume up a little bit.
You'll put up the money?
Anytime.
No, right now. Right now. Stop.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back.
There's
I'm gonna go back a minute just to get us caught up, and I'm not gonna really interrupt it. So
previously on Tooney Town.
Previously on the Morton Downey Jr. show.
Let me see. Sir, your name?
My name's Dennis Carluzzo, and I'm a promoter.
All right.
And I want to say one thing. For years, wrestling has had that stigma about it with this guy's crying, but it's going to stop these people from going? No. So what are you trying to do? Here, another thing, let me explain something about this guy's background.
He's straight from South Philly.
Let's talk a term about you. You are nothing but a bottom of the car.
Oh, you could totally hear it. You could no phone, yeah. Like
water.
Water. Goodness.
Our jobber. You had excuses for not making it in the NFL. You had excuses for not making it in pro wrestling, and you're going to have more excuses when this falls on your face. What are you trying to prove? You're coming out here going on circuit, huh?
I need Dennis Carluzzo to swallow all the saliva that's currently in his mouth.
Oh, disgusting.
He just sounds like he's just got a mouthful of mucus. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. On this show, Jim's damn well entitled to say what he's trying to prove. Go ahead.
Well, everybody has an opinion, obviously, and these gentlemen have theirs. This is America.
Well, I know all that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look at Schultz.
That's fine. If I could arrange...
Schultz is like, oh, he wants to play the This Is America card. All right.
Looking for the cheap pop.
Mm-hmm. I got the Second Amendment here, boy-o.
Matt,
pulls it out of his pocket.
All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Take him on.
I'll put up the money.
You'll put up the...
Look at Carluzzo's like, I'll put up the money. Carluzzo sees dollar signs. So he's like, I'll promote it.
Yeah.
Money?
Anytime.
No, right now.
Right now. Stop.
Do I get paid?
Rummy, I want to go to Paul Dangerously on the telephone.
What?
Paul, can you hear me?
Wait, hold on. We're bringing in Heyman?
Yeah.
Marv, there's like 9,000 cameos in this episode. Ray Kramer is somewhere in that crowd in a Hawaiian shirt.
I love this so much.
Buddy.
Yes, I can, Mort.
Paul, let me ask you a question. You've been listening to this stuff.
Yes, I have.
All right?
My good man.
Listen to Jim Wilson's life story. What do you make of his statement that he was basically blackballed from wrestling?
Jim Wilson was blackballed from wrestling, and that is the truth, and I'll tell you why right now. Because he was such...
Okay, hold on. What's he going to say? For those of us that have not seen.
Ooh.
Why was he blackballed from wrestling?
I think he's going to say
he
he was a pussy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
I think that's what he's going to say.
He couldn't hack it.
a loser. He never drew a dime in his life, and nobody ever wanted to pay the bill.
10,000 guitar shots.
The fact is, Mort, that the wrestling business is exactly like television. If you don't produce ratings, I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care how many cigarettes you smoke. I don't care what producers you sleep with. You're off the air.
Walk easy, Paul.
I don't care what producers you sleep with.
Yeah.
What was that a big reference to?
Oh,
I'm
my
not
goodness.
saying he wasn't violated. I'm just saying it doesn't matter.
I think I think Paul is implying that he did it to get ahead. That it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
It wasn't true love.
He whispered sweet nothings into Mr. Barnett's ears from
Oh,
behind.
because Ant wasn't here. So this guy's claiming that he was
Jim Barnett.
Jim Barnett took advantage of him, and I think Paul is saying, no, you were willing, you were trying to get ahead, and it didn't work, and that's why you're here.
Yeah, so it wasn't true love.
Just got head.
Good one, awful.
With everybody. He never drew a dime, and they said, get out of the business. You're a loser.
How much money did you make in wrestling? How much money did you make in wrestling, Jim?
I didn't make a lot of money.
You said you've had a couple thousand matches.
Yeah, the best
I mean,
trip
87
that I
cents.
had was to Australia for $800 a week back in 1973.
$800 a week in Australia.
Right, and they cut that. Like I say, when I wouldn't go to bed with the promoter, they wanted.
How come I have never, Jim? Look at baby, I got to tell you, pal, you are not that.
Can you pause it for a second, Marv?
Wait, did Martin Downey Jr. just say that he's not attractive enough to molest?
Oh my god.
I wouldn't fuck you.
Oh god.
The 80s were a different time.
Well,
but
Schultz
what this guy,
Schultz
go
is
ahead,
simmering
Mark.
right now. Go ahead. No, go ahead, awful.
This goes back to that awful Jeopardy question where Jim Barnett ran WCW in Australia, and this guy is mentioning Australia in his story about obviously Jim Barnett. How about that?
There we go. How about that?
I don't know what turns those people on. You know, those people of that persuasion.
My
I'll
boy.
tell you what, next we're going to meet the world's strangest man. I think I'll let this man say any damn thing he wants. Stand by.
Ooh. Who do you think it's gonna be?
Is it gonna be Ray Trailer? I don't know. Like, let the cameras coming right up to Schultz here because we just need like.
look at the size of that camera. It looks like a tank.
That's
really
Kevin Dunn
does.
behind that.
That camera looks like something a Hanna-Barbera villain uses to try to blow up the moon.
That is all business on that bench. And watch this.
Bill Kazmaier?
Is it Pimpatera?
Who could it be?
He has done it again. This is truly one of the most electrifying moments in the history of.
I am intrigued.
Oh, that's
Was that Tony Schiavone talking? This is truly one of the most electrifying moments in the history of our sport.
I think Awful's right. I think it's Kazmaier.
What?
It is
Oh,
Kazmaier? Okay.
I think. I'm looking at a tiny screen, so. Or Ted Arcadia. Chat said.
Ah,
Ted
yes,
Arcadia.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Chris Patterson.
This Pat Patterson's the weirdest guy I've ever met in my life.
Let's find out.
He certainly is pretty queer. You know what I'm saying?
Racism and all these other things that we hear about in professional wrestling. Let me introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Claude Thunderbolt Patterson.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, the Reverend's here, folks. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame this year, right? He was the one that did the speech that wouldn't end
And bored us to tears.
It bored us
with
to
the
tears.
Lord.
Let's see what he's got here. I have a feeling the Lord's not going to be entering into this too much.
Thunderbolt, how you doing, pal?
Very good, and you?
Oh, he's
You
simmering.
think you had a talent to be the world champion, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
What kept you from reaching the top of the wrestling game?
Well, promoters.
Shout out,
That's simple.
counselor.
Why? Well, what they do to
It's
you?
promoters. I mean, as
Kind of looks like him a little bit.
Now, hasn't his story kind of been like clear? Like people have verified it, right? Like his stuff about him, the racist
Yes,
promoters
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was the time.
Yeah.
He's talking about something that was still an issue until like 2010 outside of WCW.
Right.
Outside of WCW, the Southern promotion, every other promoter on the planet was like, nah, we can't do that.
Yeah. Bill Watts, the guy that everyone says is racist, was the only guy putting belts on black guys.
Yeah.
as a black individual,
I knew it.
You are limited. Just that simple.
As a black individual, you're limited. You wrestled in the 60s and 70s.
60s, 70s, and 80s.
Okay, in the 60s and 70s, I understand you
German
made
Shepherds,
from
water
one of
hoses,
the magazines, you made
cops.
$50,000 to $100,000 a year.
$50,000 to $100,000 a year in the 70s. That's a lot.
Well, they quoted me as making $225,000 a year.
Oh,
225. Did you make that much?
No.
Yeah, how much did you really make?
I made 100.
Made $100,000. Let me see. If my memory supports me right, that would be the days of Argentine Rocca, Buddy Rogers.
That's a little bit before. That was a little bit before my time.
Well, that was a little bit before your time.
Right.
Seems to me anyone making $100,000 in 1960s wasn't really discriminated against.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of.
Oh my! Are they really? Is he really going to push back on this?
Yeah,
that was his gimmick.
That was devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate.
Well, everything's a matter of
Yeah,
opinion.
well, you know, like my whole thing is that I drew money all over the country.
I mean, people came to see you.
Yes, I worked in a lot of the different places around the country, and I drew money, and I just wanted the same chance that the rest of them was getting.
Me, anyone making $100,000 in 1960s.
In a lot of the different places around the country, and I drew money, and I just wanted.
See, that's the thing is that
you didn't show up for the match. You did not show up for the match. You walked out.
Wait, hold on.
What's going on? That's the thing is like you're kind of like, okay, Thunderbolt's probably right. We can skip this, but Dr. D goes nuts.
That I drew money all over the country.
I mean, people came to see you.
Yes, I worked in a lot of the different places around the country, and I drew money, and I just wanted the same chance that the rest of them was getting. Something that I didn't.
Hey, Dr. D.
You had more of a chance, man. I'm from
your
the South.
opinion.
Yeah, my
That's your
opinion. I
opinion.
was
You
there,
was the
buddy.
individual.
Atlanta, Georgia. You was on top.
the
I was the
individual.
first match, buddy.
That's
the
right.
first match. Making
You was the
50
individual
bucks
that
a
came
day.
along.
You didn't show up. You walked out.
When you came
You didn't show up for the match.
your boots on.
You did not show up for the match. You walked out.
I walked out because I was mistreated, just like all the
and
rest
just
of
because
them.
you're black, you think somebody should kneel
That's
down?
your problem.
No, they
You went on. You was able to
Sour grapes.
That's all I had. Sour grapes.
Yeah, my opinion. You're the one.
Holy hell! Let me tell you about a promise I made to my mama.
not knowing anything about either one of their careers, crossing paths or whatever. But Schultz, I mean, what wouldn't he have been in the first match, being a not a veteran like Thunderbolt Patterson? Like,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Somebody yelled out "sour grapes." I don't know who it was, but yeah,
I don't know who that guy who looks like he's a cartoon sailor is. But...
I brain fart on his name, but he was someone that the WWF tried to make a big deal. I think like one or two terrible matches.
About to say tugboat.
You know, and he was like, again, he's in that Lyle Alzado era of steroids where we just take everything under the sun, and then your body implodes.
Yeah, no,
they're saying Bill Kazmaier.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Kazmaier.
Yeah. He actually, you know,
they tried. They tried, right? And then he lands in WCW for a little bit, and they try again, and it was
carrying that big inflatable globe down to the ring.
Yeah, stupid. It's just, you know.
I love how Schultz has moved on to the stage now. By the way, he's sitting in the chair that the guy was sitting in.
Next, he's gonna host.
Marv, there's so many people in this episode; it's ridiculous.
what you have here is
What? He's sitting next to the guy.
He's sitting next to him.
He just stole all of his heat.
Come here, you.
Got you, Nancy boy.
I'm on your side now. This is a bigger fight.
I never promised my mama nothing about you, Nancy boy, but I promised something about this.
individual. I was all over the country. I drew money. Yes, I walked out. Why did you draw money? Wait a minute. No, I ain't waiting a minute.
No, I ain't waiting a minute. I love that. And it just starts right back up.
You know, I want so bad. I want Thunderbolt Patterson to just make a gay joke to the other guy, and then Dr. G just flip back to the other side.
What am I doing sitting next to you?
He just
You got
eyes.
a disease, boy. You got a disease, and they come. Well, we'll go there.
They give you the I walked out. They give you because of individuals just like you world champion. You individuals just like you. Terry Funk beat you in Atlanta, Georgia, right in the middle of the ring, and you walked out on the company's side. Just because you're black, you think somebody owes you something. Nobody owes you nothing.
Oh my gosh!
I love it.
Nobody owes me nothing.
Morton Downey Jr. is sitting there right now, like, I don't gotta say nothing. This is the great the TV is just creating itself at this point.
Probably got a 15 share that night.
There's a chance and I would have got it myself. Well, why didn't you do it? Because of an individual just like you. I was on the first match that night, baby, Atlanta, Georgia, 1978. And you walked out. You didn't show up. Why did I walk out? Was a promoter. You walked out because you wanted to hold him up for more.
Also talking about Jim Barnett.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a Jim Barnett story. Wow, Jim Barnett really pissed a lot of people off, huh?
Oh, you go
Yes, I did, my boy.
You better lie since I know you.
Just a second, let me hear from him.
I pissed on a couple people,
Why
too.
did you walk out? Why did you walk out?
Can I say one thing before
Tell me why you walked
I
out.
walked out because my money wasn't right and they wasn't treating me right. Now you got an individual here.
He's mocking him now like he's Statler and Waldorf.
Told you that it was his first match in the town. Now, how in the hell did he know so much about it?
Hey, Bear, they're saying the money isn't right. That's because it left. Oh!
I kept going, baby. Because I kept going. I worked the first match, and then I was up on top. You went over the business. The guy paid his dues. He paid his dues. What you say? He paid his dues. That's right. I climbed the ladder, baby.
What the hell did Thunderbolt Patterson do?
$35 every night. 15.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Thunderbolt Patterson paid his dues. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming his career was not an easy one, being a black wrestler in the 70s. Like
60s and 70s.
Yeah. I worked for five. I worked for nothing. But I went to the top. I got 18 titles, baby.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Because at this point, it's just large men screaming at each other.
Yeah. What's all this got to do with that first guy getting, propositioned by the promoters? I
want to go back to this guy in Jim Barnett's, dressing room.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to the world's strongest man, all right? What I see.
All right, you know what? I think that might be a good part to leave it off. We're bringing in a new character now.
Yeah.
No.
Dang.
No? Keep going?
I mean,
All right.
I want to watch this whole thing.
We're watching it in installments, but yeah. All right, let's
Fight
watch a little
forever.
Let's watch a little bit more.
World champion, baby. And as the critics will say tomorrow when they saw him carrying in a 180-pound load of Okay, I'm sure we'll beep that out for you folks. Ted, let me ask you a question. You've competed at the highest levels, all right, of bodybuilding and now wrestling. Have you encountered a prejudice against performers because of the color of their skin? And have you been alert to see if that prejudice is out there? Because there is prejudice.
Okay, I'm college educated. All right, let me just drop a few names. Prejudice, no.
Why does he have to say that he's college educated?
Because that's what you did in the 80s to make your point.
Right.
I'm smart.
Everybody was Fredo.
You had to spell. Everybody was Fredo.
I'm not a lunkhead.
Anybody heard of Tony Ellis? All right. Anybody ever heard of S.D. Jones? Anybody ever heard of Rocky Johnson?
Des Watley.
You're naming a bunch of people who were never world champion.
Yeah,
who have talked for you idiot.
Who have talked
Wait, what?
extensively since then about being having prejudice against them.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is like fucking New York Times is like the headline: "Is wrestling really racist? We found 2 white guys with mullets to ask."
I think I've cracked the code here. Is this before or after WrestleMania 5?
This has got to be before, right?
I think it's before.
I thought it was 89 though. That could be
wow.
the same because that's
Schultz is a bounty hunter, so we're definitely.
If this is after 5, I could absolutely see Piper telling Morton Downey Jr., "I got this guy. You got to meet." He'd be great on your show. And then that's how this happened. It's just Dr. D yelling at people, set him up. I can absolutely see that happening.
Oh God, here we go.
Anybody ever heard of S.D. Jones? Anybody ever heard of Rocky Johnson? I think this guy should have paid attention more in school. You would have been in a better business. Look, Harry, let me explain something to you, Muscle. Oh, just because you got you went over into the professional, and I mean that ain't.
I love when people do this to Kev all the time. They're like, "Oh, muscle man," like it's an insult. like you accidentally acquired those muscles. It's one of my favorite stupid insults.
Ain't the whole thing. Okay, you got to know how to wrestle a little bit, and you got to know how to draw a little money. You called Tony Adams, you called S.D. Jones, right. You called individuals just like we have in the country today that go along with any damn thing that go on. Yeah, but they have the WWF.
Ooh, what's he trying to say there, Kev?
They go along with anything. They was a WWF World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, both of them, buddy. You didn't make it, they did.
It's just like you. They started working out $50 a night.
I will point out only one WWE Hall of Famer on this stage right now.
That's true.
Yeah, it happens to be him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I gave away more listen to this. Listen to what I'm going to say. I gave away more belts than both.
By the way, let's look at this crowd behind him right now. It's just the white sea. Like I think there's one black guy like right here. Like
all Howard Stern fans.
Yeah, Thunderbolt. Yeah, like you're not getting a you're not getting a resounding like show of support. And yeah, no.
Both of you fellas probably ever had.
You're a liar. You are a liar yourself, man. You don't know what the hell you know you gave away 18. You ain't never gave nothing away. You'll never give nothing away. First place, you ain't never had nothing to give away.
Oh. I feel like I'm watching a hate
On the
crime.
count of everything, like you. Every system.
Before anybody in that crowd knew that was Thunderbolt Patterson. They all threw their.
Is that Ray Trailer jumping up right there? Like, are these wrestlers right here jumping up like to
They look
scream
like
at him?
big guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My memory might be fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure the guy in the white shirt is Ray Trailer.
Let me say something here. I was in a preliminary match in Greenville, South Carolina, when this man was on top, and he wouldn't even talk to me and the captain. He was a hot shot main event guy. Me and the captain got 6 bits. If you don't understand 6 bits, that's $75. And that's what we got. And Thunderbolt Patterson was the main event guy. Come in 10 minutes before showtime. Exactly. And he looked at the preliminary board, and he said,
Who the heck's this guy?
I guess he's a friend of Captain Lou. I know Captain Lou's there, so.
Are they working here tonight? I said, yes, sir. How are you? I shook his hand. I didn't care if he was black, green, yellow, orange, or whatever color he might be. But I had a tough time, and I was happy that Thunderbolt shook hands with me. I was happy when
when you shook hands with me. I was glad. And your damn color didn't mean a damn thing.
You are a let's shake hands again.
And me and
let's shake hands again. All right.
I think it's very nice to meet you. The pleasure is all mine.
It sure is.
Yeah, Tony Altmore. He was tag team partners with Captain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drunken politeness.
When Schultz told you the same story.
That's pretend.
That's it.
Yes, they are.
Jesus.
Not prejudice. I've spent 20 years. I spent 20 years in professional wrestling.
I spent 28.
Well, yeah, you spent 8 more than I did.
Look at my daddy's pushing him away now. It's like, all right, get out of here. This was a mistake.
Yeah. Too much agreement.
It's a whole lot of folks that I didn't talk to. You have.
What is happening right now?
Who knows?
Is there a guy in kiss makeup back there?
Yes. How about that? Paul Stanley's in the audience.
This is a lynch mob going on here.
Right.
All right, that's a good place to stop.
There you
They
go.
said I think they just said Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou Albano coming up next. So that'll be where we pick up next week, guys. Holy heck.
I can't believe they showed my phone number right there.
Super chat came in while we were having fun. Colin Taylor for $20. Thank you so much. To your earlier comment, I am a weeb and it takes one to know one. Very nice. Very good. Colin, thank you for being such a great supporter of the show. We really appreciate you every single week coming in here and being so generous. And all of you guys who have super chatted tonight. You guys are such a help, and you keep this channel going. You're the reason why this can continue to work, why this can continue to grow. You guys and your generosity are what drive this. You are the fuel and the power that drive this channel. Thank you so very much. All right, gentlemen, that about does it for tonight. Anybody want to add anything else?
I do.
Okay, awful.
Seriously. Shout out to Brad Becker.
Yep.
Okay, yes.
He is a wonderful human being, a fan of the show. We're big fans of his, and we're rooting for you, buddy.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he's doing good.
Yep.
It looks like
absolutely
too.
Yeah.
Can I do the contest real quick?
Oh yes. Just talk. Give the whole spiel.
Okay, so old timers like myself might remember playing a game called Extreme Warfare Revenge back in the early 2000s. It was a free booking sim. The creator of that game went on to work for a company called Grey Dog Software, and they have developed a game called Total Extreme Warfare that is basically a more fleshed out version of that. People in the UK, if you played games like Football Manager, think about that, but for professional wrestling. It is a very detailed booking sim. This isn't like GM mode on 2K. This is you go in and you get in the nitty gritty. But we actually have a copy to give away. So we're going to be giving that away next week. If you are subscribed to this channel and you leave a comment under this episode that mentions just say TEW or I want the game, anything like that, we will put you in a little drawing and select it out. We will give that copy a code away next week, $35 value, so not too shabby. And then I think we're going to be playing it a little bit amongst ourselves here in the next few weeks and kind of talking about it. So play along with us at home that way and support the guys at Grey Dog Software. They supplied us with the copies, so big shout out to them.
Thank you guys so much. Aunt Evans, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We always love having you here. You know, you're always welcome every week. I'm going to just send you the link every week. Whenever you want to join, you join. So
pleasure.
We'll hang out
anything you want to promote or anything you want to plug to the people at home?
No, I'm good. All good
right.
with the plugs. No
His
one
Twitter
listens to
handle
plugs.
is Ryback.
These plugs ever work? The end of the show. I just wonder.
It's just, you know.
No.
No, you know what? No, I mean, I've plugged my channels
Yeah.
on WW Pro, and I get massive returns from that. So
yeah,
I think
we're about to cross 100 members in Discord from plugging at the end of the show, and so that's pretty good.
Yep. And if you want to join that Discord, how do you do about doing that?
Find me on Twitter at AEW Disciplinary. The invite is in my profile.
And you seem like Like you're just processing everything we just watched in the morning.
Processing, like what's what? Now I'm just thinking, like, there's a better way of doing this. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Plug. We should be plugging stuff like this throughout the show on the cards. That's what we'll do.
That makes a lot of sense. And
I love how like it takes such effort of me to think you can see it happening behind my eyes.
Yeah, you were turning red, bro.
What is it? Oh, it's a thought.
And it's breaking kayfabe right here, live on air.
Right, there you go.
Fourth wall.
Oh my goodness! You guys are watching the strategy sessions that go on behind the scenes, and is a vital part of both Tooney Town Wrestling and Tooney Town TV. So, if you guys are enjoying the content that's been going up daily over on Tooney Town TV, you got Ant Evans to thank for it. He's been.
I had not that much to do with it.
You've got a lot. You keep me on the track that needs to be kept.
I agree with you, Ant. No, I'm joking.
Awful Wrestling. You've got so much to say. Where can people find more about you?
Awful Wrestling on X, or as the old people say, Twitter. Tomorrow, we are going to have a little 5-minute Diddy Bop video for you guys. Me and Dis have collaborated, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think.
And I hope for your sake that the major announcement isn't something that's going to make you look dumb.
Oh no!
The video.
I'm more confident than ever now.
I've seen the video and it's awesome. I can't wait for more people to see it. Kevin Apollo, we got Tooney Talk TV coming up on Thursday night, 8 p.m. We're going to be joined by our friend Just Trish. We're going to have a huge, panel of pop culture experts to hang around with. So I'm very excited for that, aren't you?
Yeah, always. Thursday and Tuesday are my favorite nights of the week. Get to sit down and wax philosophic about nonsense.
About things, not the nonsense that we all love. All right, and of course, War Dog Apollo on X, ACW Coliseum. Anything else you want to get out there, Kev?
No.
I didn't think so. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us again this and every Tuesday night. We appreciate you guys. Check out the Headlock headlines at 7 a.m. Hopefully tomorrow. The second this show ends, I have to get right back to editing and actually filming the Don thing because scripting took so long. But thank you guys so much. For all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!